The opinions expressed by tonight's guest do not represent the opinions or position of Spaced Out Radio, syndicated carriers, or anyone associated with SOR Media. Listener discretion is advised. Here at Spaced Out Radio, we are about to take you higher. Broadcasting from the Rocky Mountains of Colorado to you listening around the world. This is Spaced Out Sunday with host Tessa Nicole Thomas. You can follow Tessa on our Facebook page at Spaced Out Radio, on Twitter at TessaTNT, and you can subscribe to her YouTube channel. Go to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio for the archive. But we break on command 'cause women rule the world. Buckle up, space travelers. Let the countdown begin.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It's time to go for a ride with host Tessa Nicole Thomas.
Good evening, space travelers. Secure your tinfoil hats, buckle down tight, and hold on loosely as we soar over the rocky tops of the La Platas on a Rocky Mountain high, get sucked into the vortex of the Four Corners, and settle down snugly at mile marker 419.9 in colorful Colorado. It is Sunday, June 23rd, Monday, June 24th for those of you on the East Coast and beyond, and this is Spaced Out Radio. Hope you're having a rockin' weekend, an awesome day, and an even better evening. I am your host, TessaTNT, and I'm live tonight broadcasting from beautiful Bayfield, Colorado. We are 150,000 strong nightly on Spaced Out Radio Network, spacedoutradio.com, Spreaker, Paranormal Radio, TalkStream Live, 99.1 FM, WQEE in Noonan, Georgia, home of The Walking Dead, 107.7 UPRN in New Orleans, Louisiana, 93.7 KZFX TuneIn Radio, 1030 AM KDune Radio, and Revolution Radio, which you can find at revolutionradio.com. Don't forget to head to our website, spacedoutradio.com, where you can peruse the Spaced Out Radio store and read the Encounter Online dealing with everything strange, paranormal, and odd. So, tonight I have a treat for all my guys and gals out there. Tonight we will be talking to and getting to know Miss Allisa Mask. Allisa is an established medium, astral traveler, and healer. The veil has always been thin around her growing up. At the very young age of 4, she was visited by angels in her room the day before her baby brother passed. Since then, she has been involved and intrigued with learning anything and everything she can about the other realms. As of now, Allisa is still working toward her Reiki certificates, but has used her knowledge thus far to ease mental and physical pain for clients. She has helped numerous clients with contacting loved ones, finding missing persons, and helping other investigators and clients with identifying who or what is haunting a location. With Astral, she has worked several cases globally with one of their sister teams, Paranormal Hunters, Astral and Research, involving demons, elementals, spirits, etc. Before I bring Allisa in, I just wanted to let you all know that Butch Wachowski had a heart attack, and so we need all the love and prayers we can get for him, as he will be having some bypass surgery. So if you could put that love and light and positive energy out there for Butch, that would be awesome. And so therefore he won't be doing the show on Monday night. He'll be resting up and healing. Thank you so much for the love and prayers. Allisa, welcome. So great to have you this evening.
Hello, hello. Thank you for having me.
So how
I'm excited to be here.
How's everything been going for you? You got any new endeavors on the horizon?
Well, I mean, everything's been going great. Number one. Number two, my husband Caden and I now have our own nomad team that's just us in the paranormal field, and we have some pretty big, exciting stuff happening thanks to you and a connection that you made. And we will be leaving out for New Orleans Friday to go meet with some really, really awesome, beautiful people. I'm super excited about that. A lot of people have probably heard about him. I call him Chalta. It's Chad and Alta. And we are going to start hopefully a kind of a partnership thing with them to help them. And I'm just pretty excited about it. Other than that, like I said, we started our own nomad thing. We have that going on, and I do a small show on Facebook Live on our page every Monday, and it's grown a lot bigger than what I ever imagined it would be. I didn't expect any of that, but it's been phenomenally awesome and beautiful in every possible way. Like, the growth has been amazing so far, so good.
Yeah, it's so exciting. I wish that I could be there with you guys to help with that investigation. Chad and Alta are amazing people, and I look forward to meeting all of you guys someday. It's going to be awesome.
I wish you could go too, because New Orleans is so great, Tessa. Oh, it's amazing. Like, I can't wait to get back. We went a year ago together, and like, as soon as you get in that city, it's like you can just feel the pulse of it the whole time you're there. Like, it just has it's like its own little, oh, it's just amazing. It's like its own little bubble of stuff, and it's the whole place is just huge and alive and beautiful. I'm really excited about it.
So when you go there, do you pick up on like an immense amount of energy that is in New Orleans? I mean, I could just, imagine going there, and I've always wanted to for Mardi Gras, and just to go down there to partake of their history and their cemeteries, and especially the food and the atmosphere.
Yes, ma'am, I do. Like I said, I've only been once. And when we were there, like, I'm going to say within the first 2 hours of us, like, being on foot and moving about the city, it's like a energy high that you just ride, because it's so intense in the best way possible. And it's like you're being pulled all these different directions because you don't have enough time, but you want to go. And it's hard to explain when it comes to New Orleans, because it's like I said, it's like the city has its own little heartbeat. It's like a hub. And the energy is just amazing there. It's just great.
Yeah, and I can see that also as being, you said you got married there. What a destination.
Yes, we did. We got married on Friday the 13th in New Orleans. And it was amazing. The way that they celebrate things there is very different from anywhere I've ever been. When we got married, they had like the parade outside with the parasail. I don't think that's the right word. Those umbrella thingies, that like older ones with the live band and stuff marching down the road, and kind of like how they do at funerals. I know that sounds crazy, but they still do like the old school way of funerals, where they have like the horse-drawn carriage and the band and these people with the parasail umbrella things. Do you know what I'm talking about, Tessa? They're like they're like an umbrella, but they're very decorative.
Yeah.
they still do that, like with weddings and funerals and things like that. Like it's a reason for them to march down the street in the middle of the street. Like they're holding up traffic, marching down the street in celebration of a union. And it is so awesome.
Yeah, I think you're on the right track. They're parasols, I believe, is what they're called.
I think that's how you say it, but I'm not positive. I do believe that's how you say it. But my southern accent, I can't promise you that I would say it right.
So did you have any paranormal experiences in New Orleans?
I had a few. It was just because, like I said, the place is like a hub. So walking down some of the historical streets that are still like the stone, what do you call it? Brickstone, like it's not cobblestone. It was just like brick, paved walkways, and you see like these old buildings, and you can touch them or walk by them, and like I would see auras around some of them, and I would get tickled because it would just kind of draw me to it even more. And I would go, like, you can feel the energy of things that had happened there. Like, 2 or 3 particularly, I could hear the chatter of the parties or the fights and the drunken argument and such. But while we were there, we were with our family, and I didn't want to like genuinely just pay attention to everything that I was getting. So I tried to avoid it because my little boy would just kind of be like, let's go here and let's go there. So but it's not something that I can turn off, I guess. So it was a little difficult to manage, but it was still awesome. But I didn't have, big experiences there per se.
Well, that's cool, but good that you didn't have a big thing, because sometimes it's not the most positive thing in the world.
Right.
So, when was your first paranormal experience in life, and when did you realize that you had these gifts?
The very first one that I personally remember is the one that you spoke about when you were doing my introduction, with my brother. Prior to that, my parents both will say that I had multiple experiences as a child that I don't remember. The very first one that I do remember is with my brother, and then directly after my brother, I had incidences with my grandfather, whom I never met, and then my great-great-grandmother, who in turn has now become one of my guides through my spiritual growth of where I'm at now. But with my brother, I would have to say that would be my very first one that I can remember. I woke up and had what I perceived to be like a multitude of angels in my room, because at that time in my life, that's what I had been taught angels looked like. Looking back now, I'm not positive exactly what they were, or where they came from. But just like anyone else, my perception at that time and what I visually seen was what I had been taught angels look like, with the wings and the gowns, if that makes sense. And it was like a room full of them, and one particularly speaking to me and telling me that everything was going to be okay and that my mom would be okay. And they kept saying kind of the same things over and over to me. And it scared me because I was so young. And I guess that's why I remember it so vividly, because it was very frightening to me at the time, because it was so unfamiliar. It wasn't that I felt scared of them. It was because I was so unsure of what it was. And I knew that I wasn't dreaming and that I was awake. So I remember like waking up and sitting up in my bed and seeing it and feeling like, what is going on? And like jetting down the hallway to my parents' room and waking my parents up. And they never were in a place where they didn't believe me. And now that I'm older and I've honed in on a lot of my things and I don't keep them pushed down, my parents say, they never treated me like I was crazy. They never dismayed things that I said. They never did not believe me. They always took what I said to heart looking back. But being so young, I had no idea what was going on or I just didn't know. And my parents, especially where we live, like there's nowhere for them to turn to help me with those things. So they just kind of let me just veer along as I grew up. And now, they're both extremely proud of what I do. They're not, I guess, ashamed of it in any way. They are very proud of where I'm at now, and the fact that I've learned and reached out and found different people to help me along the way and help me understand things and things of that sort, because growing up, like I said, they had no idea. And I guess, like I said, to answer your question, although I went off on a rabbit trail, which happens with me a lot, but my very first paranormal experience that I can vividly remember would be the incident with my brother. And to this day, I can't guarantee that what I seen was an angel. That's what I call it, because that's what it vividly looked like to me. And that's at that time, that's the perception I had of what angels look like, with the wings and the gowns, like what you see in Sunday school, I guess, like the pictures hanging on the wall.
Yeah, just the basic description of what generally people think of.
Yeah, like that's exactly what they looked like. It was just a room full of them.
That's amazing. So perhaps they had come for him.
The next day after that was when he passed away, that very next morning. And I don't remember a lot about like his passing. I remember the day it happened and things, but I remember weird things about it. Like I remember the color of the carpet because I was there, and I remember like the color of the carpet and the bed that he was in and things of that nature. Just strange things, I guess, that a child pays attention to is what I remember. I don't remember, like there's little blanks, like time losses through that time for me, but I was very young.
Yeah, and sometimes it makes people wonder, not exactly your parents, and what an amazing gift for you that they were there for you and very supportive and didn't tell you, no, that's not real. They had an open mind and they kind of gave you that out to be able to nourish your gifts. So that's awesome that you went through that.
I agree. I have to agree with that because my parents, and even to this day, they're very supportive and awesome, and just they back me 100%. And when I got older and started realizing and things started happening with my abilities and my gifts naturally, my dad would get tickled and be like, "Oh, I'm just glad you're finally doing it," because apparently it was something that my great grandmother also had. And she wasn't here. So, they didn't have anyone to necessarily turn to, and they didn't know what to do. So as I got older, I found people and reached out to people and found like-minded people and read books and took classes and so on and so forth and just figured it out as I went along.
That's super cool. Did you ever find that, outside of the home while you were growing up and going to school or making new friends, when you tell them, would you have people shy away from you?
Yes, ma'am. Very much so. In school, a lot of people, when I say we live in the Bible Belt, I don't just mean the Bible Belt. Like where I grew up, my hometown, just to give you an example, my graduating class had 15 people in it. Like that's how small my school was. And it's a very small community and a very religious, strict community. So if you brought things like that up, people would think you were crazy. And I did have several friends as I got in my teenage years who would tell their parents, and their parents would like come to my parents at school functions and be like, "Well, don't you think you might need to get her checked out? She might need medication." Things of that nature did happen to me, so eventually I just shut up about it until I was an adult. and met, like I said, like-minded people. But yes, very much so when I was younger, I had what I called invisible friends, but they weren't invisible friends. They were, I didn't realize it at the time, but they were my guidance and things that are still with me till this day. As a kid, I didn't understand that that's what they were, but that's what they are for me now. And then, to me, they were just make-believe friends, I suppose. And to other people, that's what they seen them as, but that's not what they were. They were with me all the time, and they still are. And I would see different spirit and apparition things as a child. But I never got afraid of them. They were never scary, if that makes sense. I never felt like I was in danger with them. It was very comforting for me and very wholesome home feeling for me when they would come around. And then when I would try to explain that to friends or so on, other than my mom and my dad, people would do, like I said, like they would pull my parents to the side and bring things up about them taking me somewhere. Maybe she needs to go see a psychiatrist. Maybe something's going on, and my mom's like, nope, bye. And, so yeah, I don't think it would have been so bad if I lived maybe in a bigger open-minded community, but where I am, and I'm not far from where I grew up, now, I've just moved a couple of miles away. But as an adult, I think you just kind of grow this thicker skin where you just don't care and you become comfortable with who you are and what you are and so on and so forth. So, and a lot of people nowadays, which I'm not going to say that I fully agree with a lot of the things that people bring up about spirituality and such, but that's a whole different topic. But, nowadays it's more accepted, especially in the online community, for someone to be gifted or have abilities of some sort or be in the paranormal field. They are no longer far and few between. And I think some of it is that it has become more of a comfort and more adjusted and accepted. So people are kind of not afraid to come out about it, but it's easier now. I guess per se, it's easier to be who you are and what you are, and be open about what you do and how you do it. And people are more inquisitive about things nowadays. Even in my community, there's been a lot of people who I never would have expected to ask about it or want to know about it or send me, I get messages a lot from people that live in the same town as me. They're like, oh my gosh, I didn't know you did this, la 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 la. And it's crazy. That part of it to me is crazy because of, like I said, where I live is so small and it's such a tight-knit religious community. So some of the people that I receive things from, I'm like, oh, okay, because I just never expected it.
Yeah, you never cease to be amazed in this field. There's so many things out there. And anytime you come across somebody that says they're an expert, automatically I know they're full of it. So,
right?
Because you're constantly learning. There's no way you can learn everything in this field. There's so many questions and unseen or unfound things out there.
I'm sorry. Excuse me. In this field, like I have to, you hit that like right on my head. I'm the same way. If I meet someone, and sometimes it depends on what their energy is. Like and I'm sure you have been this way too. Everybody has just a natural intuition, Tessa. You know what I'm saying? So like you meet people and their energy, and especially in this field, like when you meet someone and they claim to be a, what was the word you used? Because it was very fitting. What did you say?
I'm trying to remember which one.
When they claim that they're
experts.
Like they know. Yes, that's the right word. That's the nice word. when they claim that they're an expert in this field, I kind of chuckle inside. And then sometimes you meet people and their energy just automatically puts that off. Like I've had several that would send us messages, especially since we kind of went nomad and went on our own with Southern Ascension. I would have people send me messages about, how they're experts and they know this and they know that. And I just I have to ignore it because I cannot with their energy. It's very dominant and demanding. And I'm just like, okay, well, I didn't know that there was an expert in an unknown field, but thank you. It's something that is exciting to me because in this field, you always have something to learn. Like the knowledge never stops. And to me, that is extremely exciting.
And I also love the way that fact is generally stranger than fiction.
Yes. I have to agree with that. You've had some I've met some people on the show a couple of different times that were like that. A handful of times.
Yeah, it's really hard to explain it to someone that isn't open-minded and they just don't understand. It's just like, I'll just stop there. Let's talk about something you can wrap your mind around.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
So when did you start investigating the paranormal?
Actively with a team, we started, me and my husband started with another team over a year and a half ago publicly. Prior to that, it was more of just a thing we did together. Then we went public, joined a team, and started taking clients about a year and a half ago. And then we left that team and started on our own because we wanted something, I suppose we wanted something more personal and one-on-one with clients instead of going to bigger locations and so on and so forth. And anybody that's in this field, I guess that kind of they might understand what I'm saying. Like, there's a difference for me investigating the paranormal and then clients. Like going on the ground in the vehicle to someone's house who needs help versus traveling to these large locations. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Like that, we wanted about a year and a half ago, for about a year, we traveled to bigger locations, well-known locations. It was basically just the investigating and trying to get the evidence type stuff. And don't get me wrong, even though I'm a medium, I still have like the paranormal investigator inside of me, if that makes sense. Like I still want to go set up some equipment and investigate because it's fun. It's one of my favorite things to do, but I also fully get fulfillment and so much more joy out of the private clients, going to someone's home, helping them, figuring out what's haunting them, figuring out what's going on, that type thing. So about a year and a half ago, we were traveling to all these locations and going and going and going. And then we veered off on our own and we started doing our own thing. And Southern Ascension was born. And since then, we have took on private clients. We've went to 2 locations with a brother team, which have been awesome. We've also had phone calls from other teams to help them with the paranormal and their private clients because they didn't feel as if they could give their clients exactly what they needed and they needed a little assistance. So they would holler at us and we would take off. But I do fully enjoy it. Just like everybody else in this field, I have the same, and anybody else that's gifted, even if you're not gifted, you'll know what I'm saying. Like, you still have it in you, like the plain Jane, hardcore equipment, EMF, and hand recorder, paranormal investigating stuff.
Well, it's good exercise for a medium as well because, a lot of times when people first start out, they'll go in and just, fill out the space, and sometimes you just see that story in your head. But it's cool to add all those tools to kind of back up what you're picking up on, and it's amazing how many things out there you can get a message from the other side, names, happenings, so on and so forth. It's pretty cool. Pretty good exercise for the medium.
I agree. I love it. I like my favorite pieces of equipment are legitimately a handheld recorder and like an EMF or the camcorder, like the plain Jane handheld camcorder that we have. Those are my favorite. And flashlight. I love the flashlight because I love spirits who are children. Like, that's my favorite thing to interact with. Don't get me wrong, I love them all. However, if you come across like child spirits, that's my absolute favorite. That's my favorite thing to interact with. They're light and fun, and it always just feels amazing to me. Even if they're confused and sad, as a medium, I can help them with that, and it is the best feeling ever. I love it.
Have you ever been able to talk or communicate with a child spirit?
Yes, ma'am. Many times. More so with private clients. I've ran into it more so with private clients in their home. Excuse me. There's 2 or 3 public locations that I've been to where there were active child spirits, and I would have like what we call trigger objects, like balls that light up, you put it in the floor, or I've had sand in like the crayon boxes, the plastic crayon boxes, and put sand in it and just leave it. And that's always fun. But yes, I have, I've spoke with several child spirits in the last year or so. To be honest, I've ran into a lot of them. And they're always fun. Even if it's a bad situation, by the time I'm done, it feels so much better. Like, I've had several that were bad situations, and they were not good in any way. And by the time I was finished in that location, the energy would feel different, if that makes sense. The child would be confused, or just like in real life, if a child loses their mom at Walmart, they're going to be afraid. They're scared. And that have ran into that several different times with child spirits in locations where they were confused and did not understand. And then once you get them comfortable, just like in this realm with us, once you get them comfortable and they're not afraid anymore, and they can kind of understand what's going on, and you help them, they're very playful and they're very chatty, and that part of it has been amazing as far as speaking to them.
Yeah, I've often wondered about children's spirit, and a lot of times when someone encounters one, they'll automatically assume it's a demon taking on the form of a little kid, and there's no reason a little kid spirit should be here. But I've seen it repeatedly where it's not demonic, it is actually a child spirit, and it makes me wonder, like, why are they here? Did they come back to find their parents, and perhaps their parents had passed on? Because time on that side is different than time here.
Right. To kind of touch on what you said, I love the fact that you said that, because I was about to say it a while ago, and I was like, nah, because I'm chatty and I get off on rabbit trails. But with children, I mentioned that I had a lot of them in private clients. Well, 9 times out of 10, they will be like swearing up and down that there's a demon in their house because things are moving or they're being scratched or whatever. And once I get there and I understand what's going on, and I can feel and see and talk and communicate, and I know for sure what it is, I usually have to, like, I'll tell Caden, and Caden has to sit them down, and he'll explain to them, like, book-wise, in a way that they understand what's going on. Because with children, just like in this, if your child is 2 foot high from the ground, and they're trying to get your attention, what are they going to do? They're going to pull your shirt, your shirt tail, or move something small that's of level with them. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So it's kind of the same thing, and a lot of people would be would be like, it's a demon, and it's not. It's a kid. They're not meaning to scratch you. They're trying to get your attention and let you know, hey, look, I'm here. What's going on? I don't understand why I'm here. What's happening? But they're small and they don't know how to get your attention, and so a lot of people wouldn't like. I'm gonna say probably 5 out of 7 would be like swearing up and down that they had demons because they would have these small scratches on them, or small things, random things in their house would be moved, like the remote or something small that they set on the table, something that a child would normally touch or play with type thing, and it would be a child spirit trying to get their attention because they did not understand why they were there. They would be confused, or I've had 2 or 3 that weren't really confused. They just wanted somebody to pay attention to them. Like they wanted somebody to pay attention to them and wanted somebody to acknowledge they were there, just like any other child. And those are, to me, those are awesome as a medium, because I have this thing where if I can get one to communicate with me very clearly and solidly for a lengthy time, I ask like a whole page full of questions. Why wouldn't I? Why wouldn't I want to know? I want to know. Like, I want to know what's happening where you're at. I want to know all these things that any other paranormal investigator would want to know. And I have the ability to ask you. So,
And, they've got to feel lonely because, a lot of people don't acknowledge them either because they don't have the gift or they're in too big of a hurry, whether the ghost is at a hotel or maybe a workplace or whatnot. But I could see that child like, wow, somebody's finally trying to reach out to me, trying to communicate. And they do hang on. I had an experience like that at Motel 6 that was behind the place that we ate at in Kingman, Arizona, and had just gotten my first paranormal tool, which was dowsing rods. And my granny had taught me how to douse for water with the hickory stick and such. But when I got those dowsing rods, I was just amazed, like the amount of energy that was coming through there. And well, the kids were interested in it, and we had all finished eating early. And so they're like, hey, can we go use the dowsing rods? So we'd gone out, and they actually picked up on 2 kids, a little boy named Billy, and I don't remember what his little sister's name was, but she was about 3 years old, and I guess they had both drowned. He tried to jump in to save her, but neither one of them could swim, so they both passed. They now have that pool closed off, but I was taking pictures of the kids using the dowsing rods, and Davy Joe and Nova had turned around, and I have one picture where you could see her dress just hanging and then pulling out to the side about the height of what a 3-year-old would be. And that was just amazing.
Oh, that's an amazing experience, Tessa.
The scary part about it was, I didn't cover all the rules with the kids, and then Joe was like, hey, you want to come home with us? And I was like, no, you never invite something to come home with you, whether it's a little kid or not. But yeah, I think little Billy tagged along, and there was all kinds of stuff happening at their house after that. But
wow, that's awesome.
So have you ever tried to, like, pass these kids on, get them to the other side? What do you do in the situation when you do find a little kid on the other side?
A handful of times I have. Most of the time, the ones that I've had to, I'm not going to say literally just cross over. It doesn't really, to me, personally, in my opinion, it does, and I will say that a lot. Anybody that's ever heard me talk, I say in my opinion all the time, because like we stated earlier, in this field, there's really no factual thing. However, in my opinion, what I have done with children, there have been a handful of times where they ended up somewhere they didn't belong, per se, and were in search of what I call their familiars in that world. They're either, whether it be their biological mom, that they had here with us, their biological family that they had here with us, or another being in the world that they're in the time in the zone that they're in, that they had become familiar with and comfortable with, as if we do with each other here. Does that make sense? They would end up places that they necessarily didn't belong, and they didn't understand how they had gotten there. And a lot of times it would be in a situation where someone here had opened up a portal of some sort, and they had gotten kind of zoned into it, or kind of sucked into it, or followed it, and ended up somewhere they didn't belong and didn't understand how to get back. I have had to guide them back to their familiars a handful of times. And then there was one incident at a home not too far away from my hometown where I live that had some very traumatic, that was probably the most heart-wrenching one that I think I've went to, where children were at. Tessa, it was very emotional. It was very heartbreaking. As a medium, as a human in general, the things that we had gotten during our investigation there was no doubt that there was some serious traumatic things that had happened in that home, and those children were kind of stuck there. They felt stuck, like they couldn't leave, and it was so heartbreaking that they had been there for there were 3 kids there, and their dad was a very bad person in this life, and they had been through so much, and they were stuck there, and it was so heartbreaking, but it was the most amazing thing to be able to feel like you had kind of set them free. Does that make sense?
Yes, because you gave them the knowledge, you're not really stuck here. Like, you can go anywhere you want. You can leave. And so then they know, because a lot of times they do get stuck in the logic of when they were in the living realm, and these were the rules, this is where I'm stuck, or perhaps sometimes a darker entity is keeping them there.
See, that was the case there. There was a very tortured soul that felt the need to keep them there, torture them, as that person did while they were in this living world. And it was very sad. It was so sad. However, the silver lining of that was phenomenally fulfilling. It was amazing to give them the freedom to walk away. Although I wish that in the living world, someone could have helped them and freed them, and they could have experienced a better life. Being able to free them from what seemed like chains to them that was never ending and eternal was very fulfilling, and it was amazing.
Yeah, we still have a little girl ghost here that we're trying to figure out her story and why she's still here, but it's just amazing when you do run across those, because a lot of times they're unexpected. What was the most horrific case that you had ever done, like including experiences and all?
Oh boy. Horrific. I gotta think on that one. Well, I mean, it's anybody that, me and my husband have been on here, and you've heard us talk about the infamous Monroe house. We went there. That was probably one of the most scariest ones for me, because it was my husband. If that makes sense. It was very personal and scary and terrifying for me. That one, I've never been afraid the whole time I've been doing this. My whole life, I can't think of a moment where I was scared. Like, just scared and stopped in my tracks and horrified. But watching my husband suffer from something, and it taking so much power and energy and having to call on so much help to get rid of it, that was really scary. As far as a case goes, there was one particularly that comes to mind when I was on a case with the Astral team, and if I'm not mistaken, you were actually part of the chat for that one, because it was pretty early on when that team was developed. And it was a case that was inside the UK, and I had never, even in the astral plane, I had never seen the things that I seen on that case. They were so, like, I would have to hit the void and then turn around and come back, and hit the void and turn around and come back, because it was so much. I was afraid, like, of something coming with me through the void. And that was the first time, like, that one was really scary. They were gray beings and succubus, and it was all like this huge fester of nasty stuff in this one location. And it was terrifying. Even in the astral plane, with all of the backup that I had in that one particular case, it was insane. The beings and the entities, and there was so much there that I was physically sick from it for days. Actually, it was more than days. It was about 2 weeks. I missed like 4 days of work after that case was over with, because it was so bad. My legs were bruised. Anybody that follows things with astral, when you're doing those things, if you get banged up inside battle, you have large, that those things come through on your physical body. It can come through, just like if you're on a paranormal investigation and a spirit scratches you, it kind of works the same way with the astral plane. My legs were bruised, my arms were bruised, my back was bruised. It was really terrifying and rough and horrific. The beings, I can't even begin to list all the beings that were there. Like, I think I gave you 2 names, but Tessa, it was insane.
Tony's wondering, what exactly is a void?
A void is what we go through when we're done. It's kind of, if you can imagine, like this hole that brings you back to Earth, suppose. I guess that's the best way to visualize it for someone. You go through it, and when you come out of it, you've left everything in the astral plane behind. It's like a time warp, I suppose, is the best way I could probably describe it. That's how I have to explain it to my husband. It's kind of like this big hole that you go through, and when you come out of it, you're back here in your physical body on this plane, and you've left all of that behind. It's the middle between the astral plane and here.
Robin was wondering, if you were to ever investigate a place overseas, where would you go?
Oh, me. I have so many. I would absolutely love to go to the catacombs. That's one of my favorite. That's like my checklist. I would love to go to, there's multiple castles that are no longer lived in the UK and in like Eastern France. There's several that I've seen. And they're stunningly beautiful, and they hold all this, but they hold all, like the outside, and when you visualize them and you see them in pictures, they're gorgeous and breathtaking. But the things that happened inside of those places are horrific. Like it's bad. It's like the things, and dehumanizing, the things that happen there. I would love to go to some of those, but I have to say my number one thing and place that I would love to go to is the catacombs.
That would be very interesting. That's one of the places I'd like to hit too. Going back to astral, do you continue your training? Like, you don't just learn it and then go do whatever. You have to continue to train and to educate yourself on certain things. Can you tell us a little bit about where you get your education, how you learned, and what was the difficulty level for you to obtain it?
There was tons of difficulty for me. Number one, I've had several different instructors. They are all part of the Astral Paranormal Research Team, Hunters. I've took several astral classes. That never ends. It kind of goes hand in hand with, as we discussed earlier in the show, in the paranormal field, you never stop learning. With astral, it's the same thing. It's very unknown. You don't know what you're going into. You don't know what you can come across. And to me, learning when it comes to astral has been a big thing because it keeps you from you're in danger regardless, is how I see it. But the more knowledge you have of the entities and what they're capable of, for me, that's a big thing. And I've had to turn to my husband for a lot of that because he is the dive in hardcore paperwork research guy. I'm not so much. He is. But no, I took a handful of astral traveling classes with different instructors. I have took some demonology courses. I've learned a lot about different entities that I had no idea existed because in the paranormal field here, I've never came across them. However, you are very easily able to come across them in the astral plane. But to answer your question, you never stop. I don't think you ever stop learning with astral, and you can never be 100% prepared for anything in it because you never know what you can come across because it's such a different universe. It's so much different than being here, and anything and everything can be there.
Yeah, I always hear people talking about astral travel and such, and I'm not brave enough to try it. I've had a couple unintentional experiences, and it didn't go very well because I think I was trying to manipulate my physical body instead of kind of being in the dream realm where it's more of a spiritual experience. But I was like a drunken baby crawling around on the floor. And when I turned around and looked back, my body was there on the couch. So I freaked out for a minute and thought I was dead. So, I crawled back in my body and woke up and I was like, wow, that was insane.
Yours is a lot like my very first time was actually accidental. My husband was trying. He had already started taking all these astral. I didn't even know what astral was, Tessa. Like, that's how I met you, because Caden, prior to me, Caden was on, SOAR, and he was listening, and he had met several people talking about astral and all these things, and he would talk about it. I'm like, what are you talking about? I don't understand what you're talking about. But at this time, I had already, I was working as a medium and doing a lot of different meditations and all these things. And he is, for months, talking about this astral thing because he was listening to you guys on the radio. At that time, I wasn't. And one night, he was like, I need you to help me meditate. I found this meditation, and Donna Cunningham had sent it to him, and she was trying to help him a lot, And she had sent him this meditation to do, and he wanted me to help him do it. And I did, and that was the very first time I astraled, and it was because I was trying to help my husband learn to astral through meditation, and I ended up doing it by accident. And it did the same thing to me it did to you. It freaked me out at first. I was like, what is going on? What is happening? I don't understand. And then, I could not get back to my physical body fast enough. If you can imagine somebody running, trying to get to their physical body, that's exactly what I was doing. And then when I got back, I was like, what in the world? I almost said a bad word on the show. What in the world is going on? I did not understand it at all. And I couldn't. Then I had to dive into all this research because I didn't know what was happening. And I didn't want to do it again by accident and get hurt. So lo and behold, 2 or 3 days later, I'm outside on the phone with 5 or 6 people, that my husband had been talking to, trying to understand how to control this and make sure it doesn't happen to me again unintentionally. And it was crazy. But that was the very first time I astraled, and it was actually with the intentions of helping my husband learn to astral.
Was he like, hey, that was supposed to be for me, quit hogging the astral travel?
Pretty much. That's kind of exactly what he said. He was like, what the heck, Allisa? I was like, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. But yeah, it was crazy.
You're like, I was just trying to help.
Pretty much. I was like, I'm sorry. But the meditation, was a really good was a very, very good meditation for someone who was beginning to astral. Like, looking back, I can see how it happened for me, because meditating I don't meditate much now. At that time, in my gifts and abilities and where I was at, it was like a very common thing for me. You know, it was a lot. A big process of my day was meditation and so on and so forth. And so I can, like, looking back, I can see why that meditation was what was sent to him, because it worked. You know, but it was completely by accident. It all happened by accident, which is the story with many of my gifts and abilities. I have stumbled across them completely by accident. And anyone who knows me or has watched us or has followed me on this, you know, I'm very honest and open about things and raw, and which, you know, we're live and I can't cuss, but Tessa, stuff has been nuts. Like, everything with my bigger things that have happened to me in the last couple of years happened by accident, like freak accident. And
well, that's a good place for us to start, because we do have to go to our first commercial break. You guys don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after these messages.
We all know on Spaced Out Radio we love a good beard and mustache, so why not take care of your facial hair with Mighty Moose Beard Oil? Made in Canada, we're taking care of beards and stashes around the world. We use 100% natural ingredients with our oils and balms to make your whiskers feel silky smooth. Use promo code SOR2019 at MightyMooseBeard.com today.
Looking for nighttime adventure? Old school radio that delves into everything out of the norm? Then check us out at Spaced Out Radio. This is Dave Scott. Every Monday through Friday, starting at 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern, we're going to take you on a wild ride ranging from conspiracies to true crime and every ghost, alien, and Sasquatch story in between. We're always live, and we're always interactive with you. So join us at spacedoutradio.com, where together, we own the night.
Hey fans, it's Dave Scott. Do I have something for you to check out? A great documentary about legendary Mexican investigative journalist Jaime Maussan and his search for the truth about UFOs. Beyond the Spectrum, Maussan's UFO files can be found on Amazon Prime. It's free to watch if you're a member. You might even hear me in it. So check out Beyond the Spectrum, only on Amazon Prime.
Canada's largest UFO conference is ready to roll in Toronto this September 21st and 22nd at the Alien Cosmic Expo. This year is about the experience. Listen to the stories of Dave Scott, Travis Walton, Paula Harris, Grant Cameron, Ryan Stacey, Richard Dolan, Leslie Mitchell-Clark, and more. Get your tickets now at aliencosmicexpo.com.
Are you having encounters with the paranormal, supernatural, or ufological that you cannot explain? Look no further than the SOR Sightlines Report, brought to you by the Experiencers Support Association. This is Ryan Stacey, head of the Research Association, Tessa. Soon on the Spaced Out Radio website, you'll be able to file your reports and have them researched for you. We are independent and ready to help Spaced Out Radio listeners today.
Coming soon to our website, spacedoutradio.com, is the SOR Space Travelers Club. For just $5 a month, you can get into a private area on our site where you can hang with other listeners in our chat room, post in our forum, and check out a bunch of exclusive content and store that won't be found anywhere else, including a nightly after-show party with Dave. It's going to be the best $5 a month you're going to spend. The SOR Space Travelers, only at spacedoutradio.com.
Are you tired of being blocked, shadow banned, or placed in jail for simply posting your thoughts on social media? Social Media Freedom can take care of that for you. Social Media Freedom is the newest and one of the best free new apps that allows you the freedom to post what you want, when you want. It takes seconds to download from your app store. Come join the tribe at Social Media Freedom. It's time to set yourself free.
Visit purpleplates.com today. For over 40 years, the Purple Energy Plates have been delivering amazing results for their many customers. Inspired by the great genius Nikola Tesla, the harmony, healing, and energetic effects of the plates have proven over and over to be beneficial and often miraculous to thousands of customers. Check their site for daily specials and choose from their many energy products. You won't be sorry. Visit them today at purpleplates.com.
If you're heading to Vancouver, make sure you stop by the official bar of Spaced Out Radio, the Moose Vancouver. It's the place to party in YVR. At the corner of Nelson and Granville, the Moose Vancouver is always up to speed with a kitchen staff that serves great food. All food on the menu, $6.95 to $8.95. There's a reason the Moose Vancouver is recognized as one of the hottest spots on the West Coast. Get your horns up for the Moose Vancouver. Come get spooked at the 4th Annual Forest Moon Paracon in Cedar-Woolley, Washington, Saturday, September 28th. UFOs, ghosts, aliens, Bigfoot. Speakers include Mike Morin and Jason Jordan, R. Keith Andrews, and Dave Scott from Spaced Out Radio, and so much more. There will be workshops and a VIP roundtable. Get early bird tickets now at fmparacon.com.
A timepiece is a reflection of who you are, and what better way to show off the real you than with an Escape watch? Escape is a lifestyle brand accessorizing your days and nights. Choose to escape and create the life of discovery that you deserve. Dream, play, unite with your own personalized Escape watch. Head to escapewatches.com. There is no time like the present to enjoy your escape. Use promo code SMF2017 for your 20% discount today.
Every night on Spaced Out Radio, we have places for you to hang out. Hi, this is Carl. Join our SOR Space Travelers group on Facebook for live chat. On Twitter, using hashtag Spaced Out Radio, you can also join us in our Spreaker chat room. Check us out on Instagram at Dave Scott SOR. All of our archives are free on YouTube at Spaced Out Radio. By the way, I'll be watching you at your window until you do. Bye!
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thal, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
Looking for a place to advertise at a very reasonable cost? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. SpacedOutRadio.com has an advertising tab that you can click to check out our daily, weekly, and monthly packages to play on the radio, or our website including social media. From commercial spots to banners, we have it all. Check out our competitive pricing today.
You can follow Tessa on Twitter at TessaTNT, on our YouTube channel, Spaced Out Radio, and our website is spacedoutradio.com. Now, back to Spaced Out Weekend host, Tessa Nicole Thomas.
Hear the sound again, voices dancing in my head, smile wide, drowning slowly as the echoes rise.
All right, welcome back, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Tonight we are joined by intuitive medium Allisa Mask. Welcome, Allisa.
Hi.
So we left off with you kind of stumbling upon your abilities, but we do have a few questions in the chat room.
All right.
Robin said there are portals, voids. I am wondering, have you heard of tunnels?
Tunnels?
Yeah, like astral tunnels.
I heard of them vaguely. I seen them and did not know what they were. I did finally, one of my instructors had to speak about them because we ran into them in a case. And a few of us really had no idea what they were. because, we had only heard of, we had only seen and dealt with, the voids and the portals and such, and the vortexes of things. Then we ran into a tunnel during a case. But yes, I have vaguely, I'm going to say about 3 or 4 times, dealt with the tunnels in astral. And they're not, to me, in my opinion, they're not very much different than what it's like the mixture, in my opinion, of a vortex and a portal together, per se. Like, if you could put both of those together in the astral plane, that's the equivalent of a tunnel, in my opinion. But yes, I have heard of those.
Kimmy was wondering, do we go to the astral realm when we dream every night?
No. To me, that would be kind of more along the lines of an OBE experience. You can dream and have there's so many different things. There's lucid dreaming. There's, I guess, just basic dreams. You just have a normal dream that's just weird. You wake up and you feel weird or whatever. But no, the astral plane is not where it's not a dream realm. It's much different. It's much more complex and much more diverse, per se, than what you would do. To me, what she's describing in a dream could possibly be like a lucid dream or an out-of-body experience, which are totally different.
Yeah, I've heard some people claim that they'd go and visit neighbors' houses and stuff like that while they were sleeping, not intentionally out-of-bodying, so they thought it was a dream, but when the other person would see them or they would knock something over or whatnot, the neighbor girl would tell her about it the next day, and that was pretty interesting. Kimmy was also wondering, is astral travel an out-of-body experience, so it's not like sleeping, right?
No, it's not. I astral awake. There are some people that have to kind of lay down, and when they, I suppose, meditate would be the best word for that. They kind of have to lay down and close their eyes and focus, which I'm not saying that that's not astral. That's how some people get themselves to the astral plane, if that makes sense. However, they don't fully fall asleep. It's not, you can, I'll just give you an example. When I have a case with the astral team that I work with, that I spoke of earlier, Paranormal Astral Research Hunters. I think I said that so wrong, Tessa. Anyway, when I work with them, we have a chat forum that we communicate in the whole time that we're in a case, because 9 times out of 10, there's so many of us there, and that we have to communicate verbally other than what's going on astrally, because we have the post-care people that have to follow in behind us when we're done. So I'm able to be awake and communicate through a messenger or a phone call while I'm astraling. Does that make sense? Versus being asleep, that would be more considered to me an out-of-body experience. However, with some new things that I've seen and experienced here lately, I do believe that you can accidentally astral possibly in your sleep. I'm not going to say that I'm correct with this. This is my opinion. I do believe that there are times where people fall into a trance inside of their sleep and can possibly go into the astral plane by accident. I do, because I do believe my husband's done it a handful of times. Because in the astral plane, you can come into this realm and do as you spoke, you go to someone's home and move things. I do believe you could set an EMF off, like a detector, the equipment or whatever, because your energy is very similar to what spirit puts off, with those, the magnetic field and such. When you're in astral, your energy levels can set those things off. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I do believe it can happen. It has not happened to me. I do believe it can, though, because I do wholeheartedly believe that there have been times where my husband has accidentally done it in his sleep.
Yeah, that's when it generally happens to me, either when I'm about to drift off to sleep, or when I'm just waking up, I'll have that body paralysis and then the visual of my body. But yeah, that one was just extremely weird, and I was like, holy shnikes, I'm not dead, thank goodness.
Right? Yeah, I can relate to that, Tessa. I can so relate to that.
Kat was saying, Tess, tunnel plus vortex equals wormhole. And then Christopher was asking, is it normal to have more than one scenario to the same question you ask of the universe or guides?
Oh boy. Christopher, I believe yes. I don't think there is a 1 and 2 step to anything when it comes to the questions for the universe or guide. If you are asking questions, depending on what those questions are, if they're about this life and this realm and what you're doing, I do believe that there are many scenarios, because you have what I call human free will, so things can change. So therefore, if you're asking the universe and you're asking your guides and you're communicating and requesting information, very similar to, I called into your show that you had last night, and even if what someone says or your guides give you or the universe gives you an answer that touches base with you, you can make one move and that changes. So I do believe that you can get multiple scenarios as an answer, simply because your guides in the universe already know that you at any given time can change your path or change one thing that will change the outcome of a certain scenario.
I have another question over here in Periscope, and it's from Award, and he said, my grandma and I seem to share dreams from time to time. Is that accidental astral projection? How can that be explained?
I do not believe that, in my opinion, I don't believe that what you're experiencing is astral projection, but you can very much so be connected. It's like an invisible cord with someone. I share that with my husband and with my mom and my son. And there are many times where you share these dreams together because you have this link that connects you to someone. And it doesn't have to be someone that you're related to or have a personal relationship with, honestly, because I've had a cord connect me with several people that I'm no longer connected with because I had to cut that cord. But I would wake up at random times of the night because I would be sharing a dream with them, and it would freak me out really bad because I didn't understand why I was seeing these people or something I didn't know. To be honest, there was one particular where I was at this person's family function, and I had no idea who these people were, but I knew this person, if that makes sense. I knew them, but I didn't know anybody else that was there. And so I sent them a message, and I was like, what in the world is going on? Because I seen da-da-da-da-da last night, and I was sharing a dream with them and interacting with them because, like I said, I had this cord that connected me with them universally, if that makes sense. So to answer that question, in my humble opinion, I do believe that you probably have a cord that connects you with your grandmother, and therefore you're capable of sharing experiences other than just here on this physical earth. But I don't believe that would be astral.
Awesome. All right. Well, that is the extent of our questions at this moment. Let's carry on with how you stumbled upon your gifts and your experience with that.
Oh, me. I feel like, Tessa, you have heard this so many times. But I literally, every capability and blessing of a gift that I have has came to me accidentally. I stated earlier at the beginning of the show that I've always had certain abilities, and one of them, was seeing and speaking and communicating with what I call spirit. And a lot of people don't like that I say that, but that's just the universal word that I use. I call everything that. Everything. Spirit or energy are my two favorite words. It's just relatable for people. I have been able to do, the communication part and seeing things by seeing things, I don't mean like just walking in an area and saying, oh, I feel something, something's here. I would walk places and see them, like people seeing humans walking around. And so, like, with that, that's been my whole life. Hello?
Hello.
We lost Nikki. We're getting her back here in just a second. Sorry, guys. For some reason, when I try to answer the listener's call and join them to the call, it hung up on Miss Allisa. Hopefully she gets this. Oh no. Alright. We shall try again. Okay. Very strange. We'll try one more time. She'll be there. Hey, I lost you.
I don't know what's happening. I was so confused.
I was like, oh no, we lost her. She fell off the planet for a
Right?
second.
Woo! Okay. That scared me to death. I didn't know what happened. Like, I could hear you typing, and then there was someone who had called in, and then that disconnected, and then I couldn't hear you. I don't know what happened. Woo! Okay.
When I tried to answer the listener's call, it got rid of you, and I could only hear her. But we got you now. Hopefully she'll call back. Oh my goodness, that was crazy. But I'm glad I got you back because I was like, holy shnikes, where'd she go?
It scared me for a minute. Okay. I stumbled upon my astral abilities. My mediumship has grown immensely. I've had several mentors, several teachers. I had Shannon Lane with Deathstalkers Paranormal. I had several from the UK that I spoke with and that helped me along the way. And then anybody that knows me knows that I kind of just hit like hammer down. I don't do anything slowly, although I should. It's probably not a very healthy thing, but that's just who I am. So as soon as things started growing for me, I like dove in as fast as I could. So I'm trying to think of a good explanation of like one of the. I remember I think I've already told you about this one when I was on with my husband one night with the paranormal team, but I came across the fact that I could dream walk. I had no idea what it was. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had no idea. I was in the freaking grocery store, Tessa. The grocery store, okay? Doing normal things. And I had on this pair of Nike tennis shoes that I had gotten for very cheap. And there was this lady, and I was on the deodorant aisle, and there was this lady at the end of the aisle, and she's like, just doing her thing, I guess, sniffing deodorant. And she in her mind was like, she was looking at my shoes and those are cute. I bet they were a lot of money, but she never said it out loud. I did not realize she didn't because I could hear it, if that makes sense. And
Hello?
I answered her. Oh, hello.
We have a caller from 970 area code. Who are we talking to?
Jamie.
Hey, Jamie, how's it going?
Good.
Did you have a question for Allisa?
For my psychic reading or whatever.
Oh, okay. Do you have a general particular thing, or are you just needing, you just want me to pull some general cards, or
Yeah, just do whatever you do.
do whatever I do?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Sorry, guys. I was shuffling them. Anybody that ever watches that knows they're super loud. Jamie, my dear, I got a waning moon for you, and my guides are bringing me some cord cutting visuals with relationships. Like you need to release some negativity from your life, let some almost like cutting some baggage out, possibly. They're showing me some personal cord cuttings with this, possibly some toxic relationships or a toxic similar relationship, like just a single relationship in your life that might be toxic, even if you don't realize it at this time. Something that might be bringing you down that you need to kind of cut loose and remove and start a healing process with it.
Uh-huh.
And then with that, I also got a vision card with a fixated moon, which for me and with my guides resonates with the same card that I just pulled for you as far as cord cutting and releasing some negative things. They're showing me a vision afterwards of that, of some wholesome feelings, some healing feelings, and kind of a cleansing space for you after you cut those things loose and let them go.
That would be amazing.
That would be amazing.
Now, what do I have to cut?
Oh, I can't answer that for you. It's some negative energy that is like that's holding you back in your life. And it's what my guides are showing me is it's a relationship or multiple relationships. Someone that is in your personal space in your life is bringing in some serious negativity to you. Yep. And it's time for you to kind of hold your vision of that and realize it and state it and claim it and cut those cords loose and kind of let that go, because it's not serving you in any way. It's bringing you down.
Yeah. What else do you see?
Sweetie, that's all I got for you. I pulled 3, and that they're all 3 in the same thing.
No Powerball, no Mega Millions.
Oh, no. I don't do all that, sweetie. I wish I could, but I can't.
Awesome. Well, that was good.
Well, sweetie, I wish you all the luck in the world, and I really do hope whatever this is for you, that you are able to cut it loose and do a healing process with it and move on with your life. Because and I think everybody kind of goes through that too, where you have to kind of let things go and move along and realize things aren't serving you anymore.
Oh, God. It's true.
It's a messy thing.
Anything else you can tell me?
Those 3 are all that I'm grading for you. It ended there. I got those 3 that I pulled for you.
What kind of crazy person I am? You can't.
No.
Our crazy loves your crazy.
Is that Tessa?
Yes.
Tessa, you remember me?
Yeah. From Cortez, right? Yes.
Class, girl, class.
It was good to hear from you.
Wendy.
Right?
Yeah.
It's amazing how we come back together in different ways. So I'm so glad you called in tonight.
Well, I did the first time, and then she hung up on me. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, we had a tech issue.
She hung up on me.
We lost Allisa, and I was like, oh no, what did I do? So I was like, hold on a second. I'm trying to get her back. Sorry about that, but I'm so glad you called back, because I hate when stuff like that happens.
Where are you at, Bayfield?
Yeah.
I figured. Love you, girl.
I love you too, and thanks so much for calling in tonight. It's awesome hearing your voice.
You need to fix your brother, babe.
Yep, I need to get a hold of him. I tried last time I went, but we will definitely message me and we'll talk about that, okay?
Okay, honey, I love you.
I love you too. You have a good night.
You too.
All right, bye-bye.
Thank you for listening. Guys,
Oh,
have a
you're
nice-
so welcome, sweetie. I hope that it resonates with you in some sort of way, and hopefully, whatever this is that you have going on is fixed for you, love.
Yeah, you're breaking up.
Okay. I know it. I was like listening to that. I was like, what?
Everything is like robotic.
I'm like, what is she saying? It sounds like you're underwater.
Well, she told me that something about licorice.
You better go get some.
So what do you do, Tess, now? What do you do?
Well, I did the weekend radio show, and we do have callers on hold, so message me and we'll get into all that stuff. I hate to let you go right now, but I kind of have to.
No, I understand totally. Love you guys. Have a good night.
Love you too. Good night. Love and light.
Bye. Good night. Bye.
Bye-bye. All right. Our next caller is area code 484. Who are we talking to?
Hello, it's Christopher.
Hey, Christopher. How's it going?
Going all right. It's really interesting. This morning I had a dream and I had more answers come in about the question I had last night. It's really weird. It's like, and now I learned that it's possible you can have more than one scenario. I wonder if she can read that with her cards.
Allisa, are you with us? Allisa. Wow. Let me look over here again. Oh, man.
Yeah, I heard her breaking up.
Yeah, let's add her back on here. Goodness gracious. All right. So tell us a little bit about these dreams and stuff that you had from last night.
I was in my house. I was harboring U.S. soldiers. And they let me have their headset and listen to it. It was like I was watching a conflict play out, almost like I'm in a battle of good versus evil. And it tied to a question I had last night about my future plates and stuff like that. It would just define that.
Yeah, and I'm not ignoring you. I'm sorry. The whole mute button
It's okay.
thing.
I know you're not.
Trying to get a list back on here. It shows it's ringing over there, so hopefully she'll pick up again. And I don't understand why it dropped her. Maybe she accidentally hit something when she was trying to fix her headphones or whatnot. Yeah, you've been going through all kinds of stuff in the recent past.
We all been on fire, all the psychics. It's weird.
So what did you think about your reading last night?
It was spot on, and it led me to more and more into a rabbit hole into my dreams last night. The after party and everything. It made me question more, made me be more receptive of spirit.
That's awesome when you open up, and I've had people in certain chat rooms ask me or tell me, they have family that's gifted, but they're not, and I've had people approach me before that don't have gifts, but they want to have them, and it's just a matter of opening your mind and being perceptive to it, and it sounds like really simple. It can be complicated to get past some of the doors that are closed for a lot of us at an early age or even into adulthood. Just having people not accept certain experiences you've had and such. But yeah, just being open-minded, follow your gut, and you should be all right.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what she has to say about it.
Yeah, I can't believe
I love tarot because it's a deep dive when you do tarot.
Mm-hmm.
It's sometimes more deeper of a dive than mediumship.
Yeah, sometimes you'll get different stuff coming through. Sometimes it's hard to pick up on everything.
It's like a direct channel into your subconscious. It's weird, the cards.
I'm putting a message out to her to call me. I'm calling you, and I don't know what's going on. Hopefully we'll get her back in here. Man, I should have prepared for this and brought mine in to see what I could pick up for you, but I didn't expect these issues tonight. Generally, my psychic tech issues happen when I have Chris Garcia on. It's almost every time we have issues, but luckily the last couple have been pretty good.
The energy today has been like pea soup. Give you fair warning.
Right? And a word over in Periscope is saying something strange in the cosmos. Probably telco maintenance.
Yeah, it's the dominant sign this week is Cancer, which is my moon sign. And Mercury retrograde.
Can you tell us a little bit about that? I'm not good at astrology.
Mercury retrograde is controversial. As you know, some people believe in it and some people don't. It can be a mind-warping experience. And also people whose dominant signs have been coming through, like this Cancer this week, and then a couple weeks ago, Jupiter and Scorpio. and the wolf moon around my birthday. God.
Yeah, was that the full blood wolf moon?
Right on my birthday.
Yeah, I know when that happened, it seemed like it did open a bunch of portals or a bunch of energies came out. Like there was a spike in activity for sure. We were getting lots of phone calls over at Four Corners Paranormal Investigations and having our own experiences. It was just really insane.
Yeah, and last month for me, during that loss, it was trippy for me also. Ever since we've had weird stuff in my house, and now because I've been the teacher somewhat, now my family's now back in the living room again, enjoying it. They used to be creeped out.
And what were they creeped out about?
My mother's presence and the other spirits. Chris said that we'll be getting more visits, but I've been helping them get through it, and now we're using the bottom floor of our house again. I was the only one that did before.
So, you told me about the laundry detergent exploding. I think you had a bunch of dishes fly out of your pantry. What are some other experiences you've had about your since your mom passed?
My pots and pans were on the floor.
You said you had pots and pans on the floor. What else?
Yeah, my mom's favorite cooking utensil. That's the whole start of it was out in the middle of the floor.
Oh, wow.
And that was the first night.
Allisa, are you with us? Oh, it shows that she's there. Very strange. Okay, she wants me to send her the number. Continue with your story, Chris. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Okay, that's fine. Our cooker iron grill and a baking pan flew out, and we were all upstairs, and the cat couldn't get that out because like 40 pounds of weight. And it was all the way at the fridge.
That's insane.
Yeah, it shook the house because of that weight.
Yeah, and that makes you wonder, like, I mean, it's just a pan. Was it really heavy enough to shake the house?
Mm-hmm. It's like a 40-pound iron grill.
Wow.
It was her favorite cooking utensil. She hasn't been able to use it for a year before she died.
Have you guys had anything else strange or any dreams? I know in my experience, when I have people pass, they'll come to me in dreams. My mom did that, and then I've had a couple friends do that as well. I think it's just easier for them to manifest that way. Have you had anything like that happen?
I seen where she was and stuff like that. Then I was viewing some stuff from back in the 50s. Early in her life. The best times of her life. This is stuff before I was born. Long before I was born, like 20 years.
So you were basically dreaming about her past experiences?
Freaky, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. You were telling me before there was like a party going on or something, and she was there, but you felt like she was happy?
That was my mom's ex's mom when she passed last Christmas, around that time. We were at a dinner party with her, and she with her reunion with her family. She didn't take her son with her, but she took me to it when she passed.
662, Allisa, is that you?
It is me. I'm still trying. I don't understand what's happening with Skype.
I know.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I kept answering it, and then it would kick you off and say unavailable. That is so strange.
That's
but I'm
exactly
glad you're back.
what it did every time.
Weird.
I've heard weird noises in the background.
Why does this happen to me every time?
It must be the immense amount of energy you have.
Well, at least that's good, though. Like, it's good. But it's frustrating. So frustrating. I'm so sorry. Because, I got the internet, souped up. So it's not the internet. Apparently, it's just freaking me. Flipping A. I don't understand.
Right. Well, Chris, did you have a question for Allisa?
I was wanting to see if she can tailor my second scenario about a question I had last night where I was going to be. The first scenario was in the U.S., but the second one was outside. I was wondering if Taylor would give me a good idea about what that is all about.
Can you ask one more time, sweetie, just so I can understand what you're asking?
I was given where I need to be physically. Last night in California, and I also had another dream this morning about where I need to be if things are different outside the U.S. If I need to be outside the U.S. where I should be. It was really crazy.
Right. Let me see what I can get for you, love. I do believe that you have got one specific, I'm just going to call it an energy. You can call it your guide. You can call it, whatever name you give it. I do feel like you have a specific one that you resonate more with than another one. Oh, wow, the card I just pulled for you is a full moon eclipse card and a new moon eclipse card. And for both of these are really big cards for me personally. And what my guidance is bringing me is some conclusions and powerful changes, very immenseful, powerful changes with these conclusions. And like I stated, I feel like you have one that you resonate more, that you're more comfortable with. And I'm not going to give you a direct answer because I do feel like you alone need to make these decisions. However, I will tell you that the best thing you can do is lead with the foot forward of the one that you resonate the most with. The one that you have that comes to you and the energy that is more familiar is the one that you're going to need to kind of follow with. But I do feel like does that make sense? Do you understand what I'm saying? There's one particular guide or energy that you resonate more so with the other one. And with that one, the power and the conclusions that come along with that one particular one is going to be what you need to kind of follow as much as you possibly can. But you do, my guides are showing me like some red flags and that you're kind of missing them. So the best thing I can tell you with that is to pay a little more attention to the energy that you feel with certain things with both of these decisions. The red flags that are coming up, it's showing me that you're missing some. So be a little more cautious when you step forward with these decisions.
I was missing it because I've been so focused about California and heat and finding family over here. And I missed it. So that makes sense with you, love, that you kind of, because what they're showing me is you kind of walking past these red flags that came up, like you just kind of overlooked them. So what you're going to need to do is pay a little more attention to the energies and surroundings of things when it comes to these. Like you're just kind of walking past them, not really intentionally ignoring them, but you looked over them and you didn't see them because you weren't looking and paying attention to them. I know who this guy you're talking about is, and Tessa knows too. I know who she is.
Good. I'm glad. I'm so glad.
I know where she is on Earth when she died too.
Wow.
Yeah. So this is interesting. So that place calls me stronger than California sometimes. I'm not going to say where, but this is really interesting. It came roaring back last night like I missed these flags.
Well, honey, it is time for you to pay attention, love. Pay attention, pay attention, pay attention. But I do see some very big manifestation, powerful changes. Like I said, I got that full moon eclipse for me is a really big deal. And right now I'm not even messing with my cards. My guides are showing me these red signs, and I'm seeing them everywhere. Like the last lady that called in, I pulled like 3 or 4 cards at one time, but for you it was only 2. And that one, after that one, my guides were showing me these red flags, and they were like, okay, well, we just need to go over here. So now that's what I'm seeing is you walking past these red flags and ignoring things that you're not intentionally ignoring them on purpose. You just overlooked them. So like I said, with what I have for you, it's very huge, immense manifestation, powerful, powerful changes in your life. And they're very positive if you pay attention to these red flags and you lead with what resonates the most with you.
The guy that I'm speaking of, she died when she was in Monaco.
Wow.
Wow. I was so caught up with being over here and the mystique of being on the beach and everything. I missed it. I let my selfishness overlook it. Yeah, well, I was told
Our
that.
ego gets in the way sometimes, though. But that's part of us. That's part of who we are, and it's just something that we have. It's instilled in us, and sometimes we don't even realize that we need reminders. And I also can see this as a reminder for you to make you more conscious of your ego. And by ego, that's just the word that I use. I don't mean like you have a big ego. That's not what I mean. I think everybody kind of knows what I'm saying when I say that our ego. Our consciousness and awareness of this world, sometimes we allow that to kind of shadow and get in the way of our thinking and our clearness. So I can tell you do need to, when it comes to paying attention to these red flags, you need to kind of back that ego up a little bit and clear your thought process and look at it maybe from a different perspective, possibly, so that you can see things a little more clearly, if that makes sense.
Yeah, this is way out. This is outside the U.S., and so this is pretty clear. But it's weird, though. I was so wrapped up and looked at last month after my mom died. I was so wrapped up in the United States and the British side, my father's side, and I ignored the other half of me for like 2 weeks.
Wow.
Well, I'm glad you
I
called
was
in,
like-
Chris.
I guess grief does weird stuff to you.
Yeah, it takes
It
a
can.
lot.
It very much can.
So I'm now bouncing back to normal, it seems.
Good job.
I
Yes.
give you, God bless you both.
Oh,
God bless
thank you,
you.
Chris. Love and
Have a
light,
good night.
honey.
Thank you so
Night-night.
much.
Love and
Bye.
light. Bye-bye. And we do have several other questions, but I kind of want to wait till the third hour to do that. And we've got requests in the chat room, Allisa. Can you finish your grocery store story? You got
I can,
interrupted.
guys. It's very humorous. It is very humorous, Tessa. I was stating that the lady was like, I could see her looking at my shoes. And we're on the deodorant aisle, and I hear plain as day, like I'm speaking to you. Okay. Like I can, that's how it is. That's how it was. I hear, oh, those are cute. I bet she paid a lot for them. And I answer her, oh my gosh, this lady didn't speak this. It's what she was thinking. And when she was thinking about asking me this, I answered it and did not realize that this woman did not ask me this out loud. Okay? When I tell you, this woman looked at me like I was Satan in the flesh, Tessa. Okay? Like, just like, it was unreal. And my heart sank. Like, I was humiliated. I felt so bad. I left my buggy in the middle of the deodorant aisle. I hauled butt out of the store, left everything in my buggy, just walked out of the store. I call my husband and I'm squalling. Okay, I mean just squalling. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. Crazy. And he's like, Allisa, calm down. And anybody that has spoken to us together kind of knows how we work, because that's what he is for me. He kind of brings me down and helps me to stop. And when I tell you, I felt like I was like, Caden, she's going to go to church on Sunday and tell everybody she done met the devil in the flesh in Walmart. I'm telling you, you should have seen her face, because I felt so bad. And then I was afraid. It sank into me what had just happened. And I didn't understand it. And I was scared. Like, I don't want to be this way and not be able to control it. And you know what I'm saying? Who wants to be in somebody's head? Everybody thinks you want to be until you have the ability to be. And then you're like, no, I don't. You don't want to know what people are thinking and you really don't. I can promise you that. It's not. I have been able to hone in on that ability thanks to several people in the astral team that I work with. They've helped me a lot with this, because I struggled, Tessa. This was one of the gifts that I was given that scared me to death. It's like I said, it's something that a lot of people think that they would like to be able to do that. But then when you're capable of it, you're just like, I don't want to know, because you get in there and you see these things. And the best way that I describe some of this is, if anybody is familiar with like hypnotherapy, you go to a hypnotherapist and you pay these people money, and I'm not downing it because, I've done it, my husband's done it. You pay these people money to kind of take you back to places to fix different things in your life that you don't realize have happened. That's a lot of the common things that people go to hypnotherapy for. Well, with this ability that I've been given, I have learned that I could do several things a lot quicker than what people pay a hypnotherapist to do. And I will give you a prime example. I had a lady come to me solely for dream walking. She was sent to me by one of my teachers because she was one of my very first clients with this. And I was scared to death. I was like, because you have the ability to go in here, and the best way I can visualize it for people is everybody has these boxes in their mind. You have a box of memory, you have a grief box, you have good memories, you have bad memories, you have things you really don't understand from your life, so on and so forth. This lady had a stutter, okay? She was a public speaker. It was part of her career. It was a very important part of her livelihood to be able to stand in front of people in these board meetings and such and speak. Well, she had a stutter when she got in public. She would get afraid and she would kind of start stuttering. Well, she needed to get rid of it. And she had been to several hypnotherapists and was struggling really hard because it seemed like nobody could really get to the root of the problem. And I know this sounds crazy, but I promise you guys I'm going somewhere with this. She came to one of my co-astral travelers who had the same ability to quote unquote dream walk, because that's just the best word that I can describe this. I'm not positive that it even really has a label. I just know I'm capable of it. And when I first figured out I was capable of it, I was horrified of it. I was like, how could you possibly use this to help somebody? Because I've always viewed all of my gifts as a gift and a blessing, because I'm capable of helping people on this earth with them and bringing them things that no one else can. And it's amazing. So I was given this ability, and, my husband's like, Allisa, you have it for a reason, and that's going to come to you when it's time, so on and so forth. So fast forward, this lady comes forward and she needs help, and she has a stutter with public speaking. So I start dream walking. And to make this a little shorter for everyone, I get to this place in her childhood where her and her sister are outside playing, and her dad had seemingly had a rough day, I suppose, at work or whatever, was in a foul mood, was outside trying to fix a fence. And her sister were playing. And she had this exciting thing that she was trying to tell her dad, and she's standing by this tree in her yard. And she was very young at this time. And she is trying to explain something to her dad, and her dad's in this really bad mood that all of us, have days like that. We're human, especially have children. You worked all day, you come home, you're tired. There's days where you're just like, ugh. Well, that was one of those days for him. And he turned around and he yelled at her, and it scared her really bad. And because in that time, I don't think that her father had ever really used that tone with her, because like I said, she was very young. And it scared her. And in that moment, after he yelled at her and scared her like that, she immediately was stuttering, trying to speak to her sister in this scenario in her life. So what I did was go back to that time. I found the root of the issue, and I pushed that memory forward in her subconscious mind so that she could remember it. And she didn't remember it until I brought it forward to her, because it was so long ago in her childhood. I brought it forward. She remembered it, and she actually was kind of laughing about it, if that makes sense. Like, it was not something that was at that time in her life terrifying, And so I pushed it forward, and she remembered it, and she kind of laughed about it. And she was like, okay, well, what do we do now? So I go to my teacher at this time, and I'm like, okay, so I found the root of the issue, because prior to this, in her memories, there was no stutter when speaking or telling a story or anything else in her childhood. So I find and make the conclusion that this moment in her life is where this started. This is what caused it. So then how do you fix it? And I'm trying to figure out how to help her with this. Like, what do I do now? I found the root of the issue, but how do I fix it? So what you can do inside dream walking is you can push these memories back. I've not found out that I have the capability to erase someone's memory, and I really hope that I'm not capable of that, and I hope nobody ever asks me to do that because I'm not sure that morally I could. But what you can do is you can push these memories back in someone's mind where they're not so forward. But before you do that, you need to bring them forward and let them address them and heal them. And so that's what I did. I pushed it back in her memory after she recognized it, acknowledged it, and kind of was like, oh, wow, okay. I pushed it back in her memory. And from that time forward, her stutter was gone. And it's insane how this works, but that's word for word how it works. And I learned that I have that ability, like a grocery store, buying groceries for my house at Walmart. And that experience that I just gave you was the very first time that I was ever able to use that ability to help someone. And the way that I view it is very much so like what I have been to hypnotherapy for and what other people I know have been for small things like that. Now, it can get more serious. I have done more serious clients, and I have been able to help people, multiple people that had addictions to substances, and those are phenomenal for me because that's something that is very close and dear to my heart. So that's been awesome. But yes, ma'am, I stumbled across it by accident, and so far it has been a blessing with healing and working with people and private clients and such.
You are amazing, and I'm so grateful that you're in this world to help your fellow man, and what an accomplishment to get over stuttering. But on that note, we do have to go to our second break. You guys don't go anywhere. We'll be right back right after these messages.
Are you having encounters with the paranormal, supernatural, or ufological that you cannot explain? Look no further than the SOR Sightlines Report, brought to you by the Experiencers Support Association. This is Ryan Stacy, head of the Research Association, Tessa. Soon on the Spaced Out Radio website, you'll be able to file your reports and have them researched for you. We are independent and ready to help Spaced Out Radio listeners today.
Hey, Spaced Out Radio listeners, it's Dave Scott. I want you to check out a great documentary I'm involved in called Beyond the Spectrum, Mosson's UFO Files. Directed by Darcy Weir, the film follows Jaime Mosson's journey for mainstream journalistic truth in ufology in Mexico. Beyond the Spectrum can be found on Amazon Prime. If you're a member, watch it free. It's worth the watch. Come get spooked at the 4th Annual Forest Moon Paracon in Cedar-Woolley, Washington, Saturday, September 28th. UFOs, ghosts, aliens, Bigfoot. Speakers include Mike Morin and Jason Jordan, R. Keith Andrews, and Dave Scott from Spaced Out Radio, and so much more. There will be workshops and a VIP roundtable. Get early bird tickets now at fmparacon.com.
Coming up this September 21st and 22nd, all UFO eyes will be focused on Toronto for the 4th Annual Alien Cosmic Expo. Come listen to some of the biggest names and experiencers in ufology: Travis Walton, Paul Hellyer, Richard Dolan, Paula Harris, Grant Cameron, Randy Kramer, and Spaced Out Radio's own Dave Scott. Tickets are on sale now at aliencosmicexpo.com.
Heading to Vancouver and looking for a night on the town? The Moose Vancouver is the bar that never stops rocking until 2 a.m. every night. The Moose has great food with everything on the menu from $6.95 to $8.95. Fantastic, vibrant staff and rock and roll that will bring you back to when the music was real, the hair was long, and the guitars were rockin'. Get your party on at the Moose Vancouver, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Get your horns up with me on Spaced Out Radio. This is Ron Bumblefoot Thal. Come tune in to SOR where you can hear me rock out with Little Brother Is Watching, the official theme song of Spaced Out Radio. And then come on over to bumblefoot.com where you can find out about my tour schedule, my music, and everything else. Bumblefoot.com keeps you up to date on what I'm doing and the best way to stay in touch with my music and music camps. Sign up for my newsletter at bumblefoot.com and remember, Little Brother Is Watching.
From the heartlands of Canada to beards around the world, we know how to take care of you. Fill your follicles with the Mighty Moose Beard Oil. All our oils and balms are handmade and 100% natural ingredients because we care about your beard. And hey, use the promo code SOR2019 and get your Mighty Moose Beard Oil today. You can check us out on our website, mightymoosebeard.com.
The freedom to post what you want, when you want. That's the social media freedom you need. Social Media Freedom is the free app in your app store. No need to worry about going to jail or being shadow banned any longer. It's the freedom to say what you feel. The freedom to know Big Brother isn't watching. It's the way social media is supposed to be. Social Media Freedom. It's time to set yourself free. Download from your app store today.
Come hang out with Spaced Out Radio, where we own the night. This is Carl. You can follow Dave on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio, and during the show, use the hashtag Spaced Out Radio to chat with us live. On Instagram, at Dave Scott SOR. On Facebook, give our page a like, Spaced Out Radio Show. SOR archives are free on YouTube at Spaced Out Radio. Come join us, or I will come join you. See you at your window.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
We are getting ready to relaunch the SOR Space Travelers Club at spacedoutradio.com. For $5 a month, you can join us for a plethora of features found nowhere else. Hang out in a private chat room during the show and after party. You can check out some exclusive content and a store specifically for you, as well as a private listener forum where you can post your thoughts, stories, and pictures. The SOR Space Travelers Club, coming soon to spacedoutradio.com.
Find your escape where time has no limits. It's about living today and cherishing the heritage of yesterday. A spirit of adventure for what is new, with the nostalgia of the past. Your timepiece is a reflection of who you are. Life surrounded by beauty from the world around us to the soul within. EscapeWatches.com. There is no time like the present to enjoy your escape. Use promo code SMF2017 for your 20% discount today.
Are you interested in advertising on Spaced Out Radio? Head to our website at spacedoutradio.com and click on our advertising tab. There, you will find an assortment of ways you can get your product out there with us, from radio commercials to banners and social media. Have a product you like our hosts to endorse? We can do that too. Visit spacedoutradio.com for more details.
Hi there, this is Dave Scott from Spaced Out Radio, and I want you to come on a nightly journey. Starting at 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern, every Monday through Friday, you can come hang out with me and the other space travelers. We have it all from Carl the Alien bouncing on by to those misfit gnomes causing havoc. It's 3 hours of fun and entertainment on those topics the mainstream really doesn't want to touch. Come get all paranormal with us at spacedoutradio.com, and together, my friends, along with our resident guitar god Bumblefoot, we own the night.
Sit back, relax, grab a drink, and listen closely. Spaced Out Radio continues through the weekend. From the mile-high mountains of Colorado to you, listening around the world, this is Spaced Out Weekend with Tessa Nicole Thomas.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Spaced Out Radio. Tonight we have intuitive medium Allisa Mask on. Allisa, welcome back. It's been an honor and a pleasure to have you on this evening.
Aw, thank you, Tessa. Thank you for having me.
So, we have a caller on the air. Caller, who are we talking to?
Jamie.
Hey, Jamie. How's it going?
Good.
So, you had a question for Allisa. Go ahead and let her know what you needed.
I was just wondering, I've been a nurse, 15 years, and was wondering if that's really what I'm supposed to be doing with my life.
Jamie, what I can give you, I'm just going to be really honest with you. I can't give you a direct answer to what you should be doing with your life. However, I can tell you my guidance is showing me some adjustments being required in your life to take a different action. You're going to have to make adjustments with your personal self and your personal life and your time. In order, it seems like you don't feel fulfilled and you're not happy in any sort of way daily, not just with your professional life, but it's bringing itself into your personal life, if that makes sense. And it seems like it's dragging you really down and it's stopping you down. And it's not good for your spirit. That's not good for your energy. That's just not good, period. So what I am getting for you is you're going to have to step kind of outside of your comfort zone with what you are comfortable with and what you know, and step out of that in order for things to move forward in a more positive way for you personally and professionally. Because what I can see and what I can feel at the moment is nothing that is personally good for growth, like spiritual growth. Your spirit is kind of bogged down and almost repressed on a daily basis, and that's not good. It's like at one time you felt fulfilled and you no longer do. I'm not sure what you need to be doing in your professional life, but I can tell you that what you are doing is it's not fulfilling you, it's not lifting you up, it's not serving you in a good way. And it's time for you to see what else is out there for you. And in order for you to do that, you're going to have to make some uncomfortable adjustments in your life. They're not going to be fun. They're not going to be good. They're going to be uncomfortable for a while, but that is required for some change to come along in your life.
Do you feel like I do not take care of myself and take more care of my patients?
It's not just your patients. It seems like everyone around you. Like you have put so much out that there's not much left for you to give yourself. And that is some of when I spoke of it not being good for your spirit, that's some of what I'm referring to. You are putting everything out and there's not enough left for you to give yourself. So it's draining your energy. It's draining your spirit. You're not growing. You're not glowing, and you're not thriving. You're just kind of scooting on by. Emotionally, I'm not talking about finances. I'm not talking about, physical things. I mean your spirit. Your spirit is bogged down. Your energy is bogged down and it's drained. And that's not good. You're not going to move forward in your life and see positive, happy things for yourself until you start feeding your spirit and feeding your energy. And what you're doing right now is not doing that. And that's what I'm getting with the uncomfortable adjustments. In order for you to feel fulfilled spiritually and whole and be thriving internally, you're going to have to make yourself uncomfortable. You're going to have to step outside of your comfort zone and do some things that are not familiar, and they're going to be uncomfortable for a while, but they are going to be beneficial to your spirit and your thriving and happiness.
Oh, girl, you hit that right on the nail.
Aw, I'm so glad. I'm glad. I really do hope that you follow through with it, though, because I'm also getting that it's very hard for you when things are uncomfortable. You're not good with that, and it's hard. And I'm not going to lie, that's most people. That most people do not like stepping outside of their comfort zone, and when things are uncomfortable for a prolonged time, it's very easy for you to tuck tail and run back because it's what we're familiar with. You do not need to do that. You're going to have to bust those walls down and stay uncomfortable for a while until you start noticing that your spirit's growing and thriving. Because what I'm getting is that it's not, and that's not good. You're not living life, baby. You're just jetting by, and that is not good. Autopilot is not good for us. We have got to be driving our ship. And right now you're just kind of set on autopilot, just cruising on through.
Yeah, I'm sitting on a little inflated boat that someone's dragging me with.
Yeah, no, we got to get off that, sweetie. We got to get your energy higher. You're going to have to feed your spirit. Living life and being happy, and then living life and having, objects and money are two different things. And it takes us a good while to learn that. And you, like I said, I'm getting that you are someone you really do not like being uncomfortable. You like sticking with familiar. You do not like change very much. It's very hard for you. And when you get uncomfortable, you try to get out of it as quick as you can, almost like somebody that can't swim and they get put in water, so they panic. So they try to get out as soon as they can. You do not need to do that. You're going to have to allow yourself to be uncomfortable for quite some time in order for you to see the changes and growth in your spirit.
So you think I should still be a nurse or not?
I can't answer that for you, love. Only you can make that decision wholeheartedly. All I can tell you is it is time for you to make some adjustments in your life and make yourself uncomfortable with them. Go through that and figure out what it is that's going to feed your spirit.
Oh, girl, you rock.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
I'm so glad she was able to pick something up for you.
Those. Me too. That makes me happy. I love those.
I love it when people tell me what I want to hear, and that's.
I think we're all guilty of that.
Get out and have my own life, do my own thing.
That's right.
Do what makes you happy.
Take care of everybody else. Yeah. Thank you.
You are so welcome, love.
Thanks so much for calling in. It was so awesome hearing from you. And I hope this helps.
Me too.
So I'm putting you on my speed dial so you can tell me the rest after I keep doing what you tell me to do, okay?
All right. Have a good night, Jamie.
Thank you, Tessa. And what was your other name?
Alyssa.
Alyssa. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Love you guys.
Love you too.
Love and light, honey.
Nighty-night, love and light. Bye-bye. And we got several more people wanting readings, Alyssa. You're very popular tonight.
Aww.
Kevin
that makes
Starr.
my heart so happy.
Yeah. You are wanted and needed. Kevin Starr from Periscope was wondering if you could do a reading for him.
Yes, if you can you? I'll just do a general reading. I don't have to use my cards. I don't have to use my cards. I love them. Don't get me wrong, I do. I love them, especially my new ones. But I will. Kevin, what I'm getting for him is another very energetic card. He got a full moon card, which is really, really big for me. And what I'm seeing for him is a 1-2-3 plan, like an ABC move. What he is trying to decide on doing, possibly, or something of that sort, he needs to change his view and look at it differently and start taking some different steps toward a practical plan. Like, I feel like I'm just rambling, but it's very difficult explaining how I see things and what I get. He needs a 1-2-3 to move along in this new process or phase in his life so that he can move forward with whatever this is he's wanting to do. And he needs to look at a bigger, broader spectrum of things because what I'm getting is the way that he's going, he's not going to succeed in what he's trying to succeed in. Like, he needs to take a step back and view it and make it a more practical plan to walk a certain path to get there.
That's a good reading. And I hope he's still on here. let's see. We have another one.
Yeah, that makes me nervous because I can't see or hear, so it's just weird.
Yeah. Well, it's all connected in the same system. Hopefully you can pick it up that way. But hopefully when we do get people asking online, they won't even respond until after they hear it. So hopefully he'll respond. We have Rod also in Periscope, and he would like a general reading as well.
A general reading as well. Rod is the name, correct?
Yes. It's actually just
Rod.
Just a Rod, but yeah, Rod.
Okay. So Rod, what I am getting, and I didn't even touch my cards, what I'm getting is a visualization of some scales.
You're breaking up.
Can you hear me? Hello?
Okay, that's better.
Okay, good deal. I'm so sorry.
No worries.
What my guides are bringing me is the image of some scales, almost like the Libra scales that people see when they see the Libra sign. I'm not sure if he is a Libra or not. What I'm getting from these scales is a balance of practicality, spirituality, and a struggle between the two. And that could also not, it doesn't have to be spirituality. What it can be is his path between his personal life, his love life. You know, like an example would be a dad who's struggling with work and family time. What I'm seeing is him struggling to balance and equivalate his time management stuff. And once he figures this out, his prosperity and manifestations are going to grow greatly, because I'm also getting these manifestations like the image of him gaining tons and tons of momentum with prosperity along the way. He has got to figure out some time management things or some balance in his life. Like things are just way out of whack, and he seriously needs to figure out some balance in his life between everything, like just chaos. And he needs to figure out how to balance those things. And once he does, he's going to have some prosperity, and he's going to start seeing some manifestations of things that he is needing desperately.
That's a really good one. I think we can all do that in our lives. The next
We
one is
probably
Tony.
could.
Yeah, for sure. I know I could use some help sometimes. But Tony was wondering if you could give him a reading on perhaps some direction in his life.
Some direction in his life. Tony feels like a very chaotic. I'm getting some chaoticness from that immediately, like just crazy all over the place kind of chaoticness. Sorry guys, I speak on everything I get, and sometimes it's just not a good thing for me to do, but I do. I am getting that he's very close to achieving something that he's been working really hard on. Some things are gaining some momentum with energy for him, which is insane to me, because I'm also getting this chaoticness, like all over the place, sporadic, chaotic energy from him. But I do see him succeeding in one particular thing that he's been working on so hard and focused on. Like he's almost there, and I'm seeing him wanting to just kind of throw his hands up and just be done. It's not time for that yet. It feels like he had a couple of lessons that he needed to learn with this goal. And it doesn't necessarily, it's not financial. What I'm getting from this is not a financial gain. It's a goal, and it feels more of an internal goal, maybe a romantic relationship almost, because it feels very personal. It's getting there, but it feels like he had to learn some lessons along the way, and he's to the point where he's just ready to like throw his hands up. He does not need to. He's almost there, and his goal is almost met.
You're almost there. Don't give up. Keep pushing.
Yeah. Lessons suck sometimes. Trust me, I know they do. They suck. They're rough. But the universe never fails.
That's right. There's a plan out there for you. It's hard to see sometimes.
Correct.
And it's hard to accept sometimes too, but just go with the flow, because otherwise it's like,
that's right.
reset. You know, you got a new man, start again on that lesson. As soon as, you know, you learn that lesson, it's on to a new thing that you're supposed to learn in this life. So, yeah, just keep pushing. XX Jimmy from Periscope was wondering, he just had a friend commit suicide, and he's wondering if you can pick up anything as to why. And also, I do have to tell everyone, you know, these shows are always for entertainment purposes only, so we'll go back to Allisa.
With this, I'm gaining some. I smell alcohol, Tessa. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not sure if I should really go dive into this, but I will. And if you think I don't need to, you just let me know. However, I do smell a lot of it's an addiction of some sort. I'm not going to say it was an alcoholic addiction. I will, however, say there was some mental things going, possibly PTSD of some sort, because that's kind of what it feels like, and that's what I'm hearing. However, I do smell, I'm going to just say it, I smell a lot of alcohol, and I have this addiction feeling related to this alcohol, and it feels like it was a result of prolonged PTSD and some serious mental illnesses that were never addressed and spoke on, almost like a pride thing. I'm wondering if he was a military man, because that's what I'm getting, is some sort of stern background that was very repressed and caused a lot of mental struggles and issues. I'm not going to just blatantly say that that's what happened, but I am going to say that's what I'm picking up on. And there was an addiction of alcohol, because that's just what I've got. It's very strong, it's very stern, and that's what I have. But there were some repressed issues, and it feels very military and very stern to me. And it's very sad and dark, and was never spoke on. It was never something that was discussed, and there's a lot of prideful things connected with it. He is very safe where he's at, and I'm not sure what the name Joe means, but it's coming up, and I'm not sure it's even related to that. So if there's somebody else that's trying to get a reading for somebody named Joe, we have a Joe sticking around. But that is what I have for him, and I'm very sorry that happened to his friend, because it feels like it was something that he wanted help with but was too prideful to ask for help. It's very, very, very sad and very dark, but his friend is safe and is in a peaceful, safe place, because I do have safety with him. But yeah, that's what I have for him, Tessa. I'm so sorry. It's really sad for me.
Yeah, and I was just saying it's a really hard situation, and that is generally the number one question when you lose a friend to suicide is why. And there's many different whys in that scenario, but you know, we may never know, but hopefully that's helpful, and he gets something out of that. I'm sure he will, because I got a lot out of it. Our next listener is Jason from Periscope, and then we have Nikki. So Jason didn't ask any particular questions. I think he just wants a random pull.
A random pull? So we'll go back to my cards here. I love how you have to say it's for entertainment purposes only.
Right.
I'm sorry, that just kind of cracked me up. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have, but that just made me, it cracked me up for a moment. For him,
he came back in and he said, ask her if she can see who is trying to contact me from the other side. He's come across a lot of paranormal activity.
I wonder if that's where the Joe is coming from. At the moment, I'm not going to lie, I have so much energy going on. I have like 5 different things happening, and I can't hone in on it. However, if he would like to, after the show, possibly send me a PM or something, and I could finish like a private reading for him, because I do those also. Like I said, my cards aren't all that, I do. I do love them for things like this because energy is so crazy. But if you would like to reach out, I can finish like a private reading for him and see if I can figure out what's going on.
He said no, and just see if you can get a name. You already said Joe, but perhaps if you do pull for him, you'll pick up some more while you're getting that.
Okay. What do we have? What do we have? What do we have? I got a nothing is set in stone. And for that, it doesn't feel like it's related to what he is asking about, about the paranormal activity. But the two cards that I have for him are the adjustments are required and nothing is set in stone, which what I get from these two with my guidance and with the energy that he's bringing forward is it's not like an uncomfortable thing like what I spoke on earlier with this particular card. What it is him having to make some moves to make some things happen for himself. And he is unsure of which one is going to be beneficial for him, possibly. And the best answer that I can give for what I have for him, because it's a little sporadic, is that nothing is permanent and he can change these things for himself at any time. But in order for that to be a possibility, he's going to have to make some personal adjustments in his everyday life.
And are you still getting Joe as a name?
Yes, but I'm not sure it's related to him. I don't know where it's coming from, but it's what I have is Joe, like a spirit Joe. Like it's not just a name anymore. I have a full-fledged spirit that is here to communicate with someone named, and their name is Joe. Like this guy's name is Joe. It's an older man. This is so strange. I wish I could figure out what it's for. Is there a Melissa that's listening, or a Melanie or Melissa or something with an M that requested something?
I haven't seen one so far. But that's funny, because when you said Joe, that's when I saw Joe in the chat room, like he had just popped in. He's like, is somebody talking about me? And then Monk is the last name he goes by.
Oh, maybe it is. He said, "Oh, I just now pulled the chat back up." Is he? I'm reading. Oh.
He said, "My ears are burning. Are you guys talking about California?"
Oh my gosh, it's just strange. And with something like this, and it's difficult for me. I'm not as experienced. It's no secret. I'm not as experienced as a lot of the mediums and spiritual people that do these shows. I mean, I'm learning as I go. I have a very hard time controlling a lot of things that I get because it's still kind of fresh for me, if that makes sense. And I don't have a filter, so everything I get I speak on. And that, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm very honest and very open, and I'm very raw, and that is something, that I will hold on to no matter how far I go or what I do. It's just who I am. So I don't water things down, and I don't hold things back, but I also have a really hard time controlling things. Like, I just let it come out. I was reading the
Well, no worries.
Chat room.
And Jason was like, who is Joe? And then he said, I'm so confused. But perhaps it was Joe because he did pop in right when you said, Joe, I'm getting Joe. So I don't know if that's connected because I have this thing where
it could be.
I project, or I'm thinking what somebody else is thinking, or I'll just bring them something that they want and they haven't even said anything. But maybe it was that. And
I'm sorry I confused him, though.
Oh, no worries. So
Joe Monk, get out of my head.
Right.
Back off.
So the general message for the reading for him, maybe we need to just shorten it or something. I don't know. Trying to help.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Well, Nikki was wanting a reading. She said, Allisa, any information or messages that I'm missing for myself?
Nikki, I see a lot of self-love and soul work for you. Some spiritual work and some emotional soul work. And by soul work, I'm not sure if she's familiar with that term. For me, it's more or less going back and paying attention to some different things, like possibly some things that you thought you had dealt with that you have not. But I do see a lot of self-love and internal work for her that needs to be done in order for her to grow spiritually. Like, it seems like she's on this path walking, but she keeps coming across these hurdles that are extremely difficult. In order for things to smooth out on this path for her and the spiritual path that she's on and working towards, she needs to kind of slow down, sit down, focus, and do some internal self-love healing work, if that makes sense. It feels like there are multiple things that she kind of thought she had dealt with and she hasn't. And she needs to reopen those wounds and readdress them and start working and fixing them and healing them completely. But she does feel very spiritual to me, very, very spiritual. Like her energy is very spiritual.
And then Sandra, she was wondering if she could get a reading as well.
I love me some Sandra.
Me too. She's amazing.
Yes. She's like, it's crazy how I've met so many people through this, and then they follow me and Caden on our journey, and it's beautiful to me. It is absolutely beautiful to me. Oh my gosh, I've never pulled this card, Sandra, ever. Out of this whole deck, I've never pulled this card. Believe in the impossible with a blue moon. Oh, she said, oh, I'm reading it. I'm so sorry. It feels like, for me, it's just a really good thing, like, believe in the impossible. For Sandra, what I'm getting with this card is, like, this no limitation thing for her with her aspirations of becoming something greater. And it's all very spiritual. It's not like in this physical world. It's very spiritual. She has this huge mission that she needs to accomplish. And I don't even think she knows it yet. Like it seems like she doesn't realize it, what her path and her journey are. And maybe she's been conflicted about it. But it's beautiful, and she has this mission that she is set on, and she needs to believe in herself a little more with whatever this is. But I can tell that she has like this purpose. That would be a better word. This large purpose that she's going to be given, and it's going to be amazing for her. Like, it's just beautiful to me. Because I've never seen this or pulled this for anyone. But it's very spiritual. It's a spiritual path, and it's growing and big and huge, and your purpose is freaking amazing. And I'm kind of excited about it because I hope that I get to see it.
Okay. And you were done with the reading, right? I don't want to interrupt.
Yes, I'm sorry. That's just really awkward, isn't it?
No worries.
See, there I go. No filter, guys. I'm sorry.
It was funny because Sandra said, Joe, you are in someone else's reading again. I guess that's happened before. Maybe he's just got this immense energy that penetrates everywhere. And Jason was wondering, how can he personal message you so he can give you more details? He'd like to know the reason behind such energy, because when you were reading before you picked up the cards, you had said there was a lot of energy around him, and he was asking if that was good or bad energy that you were picking up on.
Yeah, he's the one that had the sporadic energy. It's not really a name of good or bad for me. It's just when if I say there's a lot of energy, that doesn't necessarily mean it's bad or good. It's just a huge ball of energy. Like it's very prominent and there. Does that make sense, Tessa?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I hope I said that right. It doesn't necessarily mean good or bad. It's just there. It's very present and known. Like, his energy field is large. Like, we all have our own energy. And for him, his is very big. And for me, in my own opinion, usually when people have those, they're very sensitive to other things. You know, they're very sensitive to the paranormal, quote unquote. They're very sensitive, per se. Does that make sense? Like, prime example, Tessa, would be you. You're like, I can feel your energy, and you already know that because I tell you all the time it's beautiful, because it is. But it's because you have this huge energy bubble with you, and it's radiant. And for him, it's the same way. He has a large energy field, and it's very easy to see. It's like a beacon of light. But it doesn't necessarily mean it's good or bad.
Yeah, I would say I think that's awesome and good news. If his energy is erratic, do you think maybe he should try some grounding or...
Yes. Meditation. I am a big meditation person. I believe that it can help even for people who have a hard time meditating. However, I'm not someone who puts meditation in like a black or white thing. To me, everybody has their own way of doing it. And I'll just give you an example. You know, I spoke earlier about my husband struggling with astral. My husband has a really hard time meditating. Like, he can't just sit down and cross his legs and his way into meditation. For him, meditation is like putting his soundproof like earbuds in and turning on like the sounds of a fire crackling, and just kind of taking 30 minutes to himself and only hearing that and being in that moment. And for everybody, I do believe meditation is different. And a lot of people get they get frustrated with meditation because they have this image that meditation is only just kind of sitting down and crossing your legs outside, you know? And it's not. It's different for everybody. And you have to find what works for you. What puts you in that white room where nothing's there? You know what I'm saying? What can get you there? And you have to find those things. It's not always easy. It's different for everyone. And I firmly believe that.
Yeah, Jason said he generally meditates a lot. He generally meditates for an hour. Do you think he should go longer? I didn't see if he's done any grounding.
Maybe he needs to try some guided meditation. And I will say, at the end of the show, I don't know if they hear or see. I don't know. I don't have Periscope. So I don't know if they hear or see, you know, like at the end of the show. I will let everyone know how to contact me on our Southern Ascension page. We are on Facebook under Southern Ascension Paranormal. You'll see my name, the same name that's posted on the SOAR thing that you post. So, you know, that they can always contact me there. And then I have a personal Facebook page. We have Instagram for the page. All of my clients, I do keep a roster. Like, I'm able to keep up with it through Southern Ascension because it automatically goes to our account, our Gmail account. So I'm able to keep up with things and keep them separate. But anytime that, you know, he wants to reach out, I am more than happy to try to help him any way I can. If I can't help him, I will find someone that can. Like, I'm not a prideful person. If I can't do it, I'll find somebody that can. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely. Well, that was a good reading. And it's funny because we did Nikki right after him, and I just now saw this in the chat room, I apologize, but she said she has a great uncle named Joe. So perhaps that's who is with you that's trying to get a message through.
Very true, Nikki. I'm back in the chat room. I'm trying to look. She possibly could have that that could be related to, her. I wonder if it feels like a very, not a grandpa-ish, but almost very rugged, hardworking man. There's calloused hands and such with him. So if that relates to her, then possibly that could be what it is. It's weird. I didn't expect that to happen. I really didn't.
Sometimes they show up, they're needed, but not at that direct moment.
Right.
Yeah, it's funny.
She said, yep. Okay, awesome. I wonder if she had questions about him watching over her or anything, because that's what he's showing me, is him being present with her. Like, she needs to know that he's there. Like, he wants her to know that he's been with her. If that makes any sense. But I'm glad it resonates with her, because I was getting the calloused hands of a hardworking man, like super calloused, hardworking, humble, hardworking man. So if that resonates with her, that is exactly what his message for her is for her. He wants her to know that he's with her a lot. Like a lot. It seems like she had questioned that particularly with him. Like, if he was with her, if he was around, if he was helping her in some way, and because he's very vivid, dominantly wanting her to know that he's there.
Trixie was wondering, since you're using tarot cards, can you pull the fourth card down for her?
Fourth card down. I can. I will say this though. I hate the word tarot cards. Oh! What I do is I call them angelic guided. I use them with energy, but yes, I will pour them. I'm doing it now. And for her, that is the communication is key. It's a Gemini card, so it's very feminine. And it seems as if she's being pushed down. Like, that's what my guidance is bringing me, is like a emotional push down, if that makes sense. Almost like you're being dismissed, like you don't exist. Like, emotionally, or your opinions on things, they don't matter. So just stop. And what I'm getting is it is time for her to stand up for herself with this, and stand your ground and stop letting them push you over. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm getting for her.
That's super awesome. Okay, let's see. And yeah, somebody over here was
You're
saying,
very welcome, Nikki. Sorry, I was telling her she was welcome.
No worries. Never apologize. Greg said he had a relation called Joe and Melissa. That's interesting.
Oh, wow. That is interesting. I wonder if the Melissa is separate from the Joe, or if they are together. I don't know. I'm so confused. All right, Spirit, get it together.
Oh, and Nikki said, I bet he wants me to know he's also with my mom. That's awesome.
That is awesome. I'm so glad that happened.
Yeah. Jason over here in Periscope was like, Joe is all over the place, kind of rolling his eyes. And I'm like, well, you were before Nikki, and he was hanging out for her. So that's where it makes sense to me. That's so funny. But to have this guy come in, Greg, and say, I have a relation to Joe and Melissa. And that's where things can get pretty cattywampus. Is he still there, or has he left?
Oh, no, I mean, Melissa and him are both forward, but I can't decipher if they are together. I will say, if Melissa, is there a fire, somebody burning in a fire? Because that's kind of what I smell when I focus on the Melissa spirit. That's what I'm getting, is the smoke, this. You know what the smell of smoke when a house is burning, how it's left over? That it smells like a fire. like someone passed in a fire related to this, or there's questions about it, like it's not really fixed or solved. I don't know, it's crazy. I know that sounds so odd. It's very difficult to do this. Love it, though. I do love it. I love the fact that spirit is so uncontainable, like you can't predict it.
Right. Like, what's going on here? Yeah, and,
but I am going to ask if there's a relation to the fire, because it's really prominent, and it feels as if there's like, the best way I can describe this to you is that what I see are like these huge question marks and unanswered things, like this huge big box of unanswered things related to this fire.
And I want to scroll down here because Nikki had said something else. My computer is acting weird. Okay. She said, "Oh, holy shnikes, my great Uncle Joe has a grandson named Joe and wife is Melissa."
Wow. Wow.
Oh, she says, "My great aunt was caught in a fire, burns over a huge percentage of her body."
Oh, okay. Were there questions as to how the fire initially started, or if someone had done it, or if it was an accident or something?
Nikki?
I didn't mean to take over your show, Tessa. I'm sorry.
You are the guest. She said she's calling in. I hope this goes well.
Okay. Oh,
let's see over here. While we're waiting for her to call in, Trixie said, "Well, considering all the hell that has broken loose in her life in the last few months, she said you're pretty darn accurate."
Oh, I love those. That makes me smile so big.
Not the
I
fact
love
that
that.
you're going through a hard time, but that she was able to pick up on that for you.
Yep. Yes. I'm sorry. I should have clarified that. Thank you, Tessa.
No worries. I meant what you know.
Yeah.
Here she comes. Hello. Where's the add button? Oh no. It's not letting me add her.
Oh no.
Oh no. Let me add her this way, because I don't know why it's not coming through. Because it's coming through on my phone, but for some reason not the Skype. Very weird. Oh, and I just tried to answer it and she's gone. Oh my goodness.
Aww.
Nikki, can you call in your Skype? That's pretty frustrating. I don't know. That
You there?
totally bites. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Hi, Nikki. There you are.
Are we there? Are we there?
Yes.
Hello. That is just bizarre.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
You got some interesting things, dear.
I know. I'm so sorry in a way, but I am excited. I do want to ask, were there ever any questions as to the fire with your great uncle's sister, like
With
how
my
it
great
started,
aunt,
or
yeah.
if it was intentional?
No, it was supposedly it was an accident. It happened when she was a teenager. Okay, wait a minute. There were two fires. I take that back. There were two fires. There was a house fire, and it basically according to the family, it basically gutted the house, and they had to live in a canvas tent. Now, remember, this is back in, God, 1920s, I believe.
Right.
1930s, somewhere around there. And so the family had to live in a very large canvas tent, and they had a small, oh, good grief, I can't think of what it's not a campfire. Hello. Stove, a stove inside the tent. And
were her scars and stuff on her back
oh, they were over a huge percentage of her body. They covered her face, her arms, her hands. It was like 70 to 80% of her body.
Okay.
So I grew up around my aunt and my uncle, my great aunt and my great uncle, and pretty close family.
Right.
And my cousins are Joe and Melissa. So yeah, I was just going, wait a minute, this is getting too no. So now I'm wondering what is I mean, obviously my Uncle Joe is wanting me to know that he's around me, but I'm also wondering if he is really wanting me to know that he's around my mom as well, because my mom is in a memory care facility. And
is she lost a lot of weight with dementia, not wanting to eat?
No, not yet. That part, she is having issues with behavior. So they're probably going to have to change her meds again.
Violet, are you kind of pushing against them medicating her for the fear of almost like a sedation? Is that something that you've been really concerned about?
No.
No.
Well, I did early on. I did when this first started.
Like it was something that you struggled with, maybe?
Oh, yeah, I did earlier. Yeah. That's a number of years ago, but yeah, not now.
But the reason that's coming up is he's very prominent in that time. I'm not sure if that's when you initially had to put her into a memory care place or something. But the reason I ask those questions is because what he's giving me and showing me is him being very present with you at that time.
Oh my God, that means a lot to me. Thank you.
You're very welcome, love. I know they're random questions and they sound strange, but I was asking because he was showing me you struggling very difficult, like through a certain period of time, and it was her like very, very groggy, very sleepy, and you were carrying some guilt with you, like wondering if you had made correct decisions and so forth. And he was showing me that he was there with you very prominently in that time of your life. It was very difficult. And not only him, you had several family members and loved ones surrounding you during that difficult time.
I would probably, well, I didn't feel my grandmother around, but because there are like 6 kids in the family. So my grandmother was probably around my mom a lot. I knew I knew my Uncle Joe was around, but I didn't know he was around that often. So that means a great deal to me because I've basically been on my own with this. I mean, in the grand scheme of things. So, yeah, I've kind of had my hands full.
Right. So I can only imagine, sweetie.
It means a lot to me that this information that you're telling me, because I'm like, oh, my God, okay.
Oh, that makes my heart happy. I'm very sorry for your difficult time, but it does make my heart happy that you got some sort of joy out of this, and possibly some sort of relief or something that made my whole night right there. My whole night. It makes me cry. It makes me emotional because it's an amazing thing, and I'm very glad that you got that from this.
Yeah, I very much appreciate it because I have spirit around me all the time. I mean, I have my own psychic medium abilities, but they're just only so much that I pick up on, and then a number of things that I will miss because I'm helping somebody else or I'm working on another project, and I sometimes don't sense them. My cat does frequently. So, I have kind of an animal forewarning system.
Right. Right.
I miss it, and then he's right there screaming his head off, and I'm like, oh, but he has a specific scream and a specific way he looks on his face, and I'm like, oh God, okay, now who's here? And then I stop, I meditate, I'm like, oh yeah, okay, well, what the heck are you doing here?
Right.
So, but there are a lot of things that even us that deal with this, I mean, there are things that we miss. So it just means so much to me that you're telling me this and that he's coming through the way he is. Now it's got me curious if he has any messages for his grandson.
I can try to bring him a little more forward. If you, like I said earlier, Trippin was nice enough to post my information in the chat room, which was awesome. Thank you. Shout out to Trippin Fool for that. That was awesome. However, I can try to bring him more prominently forward and get a clearer communication with him, where I can try to ask him questions and so forth and so on. I do readings like that a lot with what I call private clients. So if that's something that you would like to try to do, I can. You just shoot me a message and we'll set it up and I'll get it done for you, love.
That sounds
and
great.
Everything I do is absolutely free. I do want to say that.
That's
Tessa
how I
already
am,
knows.
because I still practice. I'm still practicing and learning.
I don't charge for absolutely anything that I do, and I never will. It's not something that I believe in, and I'm not downing anybody that does in any way. It's just not personally my thing. I don't believe it's right for me. I'm afraid, I was, like I said, I was given what I'm capable of doing for a reason, and that reason is to help people in any way that I possibly can, and I don't feel like it's fair for me to charge someone for something that I'm capable of getting them if they can't get it anywhere else. So if it's something you're interested in, just shoot me a message, and I will do my absolute best to do that for you. I would love to.
Oh, that would be wonderful.
And how awesome is it that we were able to connect Joe with you and get that message to you? That's amazing. Thank you so much, Allisa.
Right?
You rock. She's like, Joe's here. I don't know where he goes, but...
Thank you. And with that, I'll get off the phone because I know you're about to end. So
we're heading out pretty soon. But thanks so much for calling in, Nikki. I'm so glad that we got that message.
Thank you for allowing me.
Oh, thank you. Hope to talk to you soon.
All right. See you in a few.
You got it. Bye.
Well,
thank you.
Thank you, Nikki. We are at the end of our time. Can you tell our listeners again how exactly to contact you?
Yes. Oh, wait, I just lost. Okay, there it is. You can contact me at Southern Ascension Paranormal for all of your paranormal spiritual needs. We are on Facebook at Southern Ascension Paranormal. That is our name. Our email is southern.ascension@gmail.com. We are also on Instagram. I would absolutely love to help anyone that I possibly can. That's what we're here for. I am a spiritual intuitive medium. I also work on Reiki. We do a lot of hands-on paranormal investigations. So anybody that needs anything, if we can't help you, like I said, we're not prideful people. So if I can't get it done, I will do my best to find someone that can.
Well, thank you so much again for being my guest and for joining us this evening. I'm so glad we got to get together again.
I know, it's amazing. It's always amazing. Thank you for having me.
No worries. We got to do it again for sure.
Yeah, we need to have we need to get Caden on. Everybody likes to talk to Caden.
And thank you to everyone on Spaced Out Radio, Facebook, Spreaker, Twitter, Periscope, Paranormal Radio, TalkStream Live, and wherever else you may be listening in the universe tonight. It was my pleasure, literally and figuratively, and I can't wait to do it again next weekend on spacedoutradio.com. Don't forget, we are all in this together. Together we can make the world a little better. And together, my friends, we own the night. And until next time, nighty-night, love and light to all my space cases out there. I hope you guys don't work too hard this week. Take care of my yous. And you guys have a wonderful rest of your week. I hope to see you back here next weekend. If at all you guys are interested, feel free to join us for the Skype after party at 970-335-9596. That's 970-335-9596.